too many dreams got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Not that you're gone. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. seek to find is a world that's mine. Need a place to hide. Will you free my mind? Follow the light of a world that's blind. In your eyes I see there's a place for me.
Nothing cuts quite like a memory, especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset.
You'll still have common days, Forget someone's name mid-conversation. Count your tips at the end of your shift. Buy something disappointing off the internet. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Well, hello, my wonderful friends at NECC. You know what time of the day it is. It's the best time of day. It means it's Marvel Rivals for playoffs! And I have the most wonderfully dressed, stylish-looking human being, not just alive, but in all of existence, Mr. F. Dot himself. How are you, my friend?
Okay, all right. I don't know if I can stand up to that intro, but I guess we'll take it. What's good, friends? I'm F. Dot, and I'm here, and we're ready for playoffs because we've got 2 matchups in front of us.
Now, I'm trying to read the text on your shirt. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be, but what, hundreds? Is that a 100-theme shirt?
Nope.
Ah!
LA based, though.
I've
Streetwear
heard of
org
LA.
out of LA. So, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Southern
interesting.
California. You know the vibes.
Oh.
I'm not
Well-
from there, but I was born there. But
Oh, you were born everywhere. First it's New York, then it's LA. Now it's I don't know if I can dox you too much. I can't give your address on NECC, but you've been all over the entire world, my friend. But you know what the most interesting thing is? There are no
Shoot.
Huskies, and I don't think there are bears in LA. Though I think there have been a few sightings. And today, for our first match in Division 7, we have the Huskies versus the WVU Bears. I don't know what to expect as we're in playoffs, my friend.
yeah, Div 7. So we have a lot of creative approaches to the game here. As far as WVU Tech, this is a team that really hasn't had much. Their journey has been pretty easy. Most of their dubs have been just straight 3-0s. I think there was 2 at most, maybe 3 pushing it, where they actually got taken later on into the series. But for the most part, this team has just shown up, put down, and now they're in playoffs ready to go.
Now, look, I'm not an animalologist, man, but if I think of a bear versus husky, I'm going to probably think the bear is going to win. We do have our rosters down below. Are there any names, especially from WVU side, that's really sticking out to you?
I mean, in general, that's the fun part about Division 7. As we get higher and higher up, there's more rigidity. There's more lore.
Yeah.
There's more stuff written in concrete. Whereas down here, we write our names in the sand. And every time the games come and go, we have a new tide. And so every single day we step out here, it's more of a moment for these players to change my answer from a not yet to a yes. But at the moment, we got to see how they play on the stage.
It is an area of discovery. We are like Lewis and Clark. We'll be discovering all these players together to see exactly which ones will truly shine to the top of Division 7. We have the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda as map number 1, and I'm very excited to see what these bands will look like. If it's anything like I've seen before, of course, this area of Marvel Rivals is always interesting when it comes to hero bans and reserves. It usually comes down to target bans after we get through game number 1, but I'm expecting to just see a lot of strategic hard bans early on, my friend. Oh, never mind, Punisher. Sure, man.
Punisher and Elsa is kind of where I'm expecting to go. Punisher, listen, Frank still does what Frank always does. He just
Punish.
absolutely. But the new TikTok smoke is zipline to the backside and shotgun only. And it's been working out well. So Punisher kind of risen up through the ranks. I think especially as we get further from the top down here in these games that we're about to see, I think the Punisher is a really valuable choice.
I think outside of his movement options with his zip line, he's always been one of those heroes that I expected people to play a lot more on release, but Star-Lord's taken up that more competitive mantle with just his movement options poking the back line. That being said, though, we do have the Storm Reserve, which I'm very excited about seeing. You get rid of all the hit scan options on WVU side. They're really going in on this all flyers to pick.
Yeah, the Punisher ban makes more sense now, seeing it next to the Hela ban and the Storm Protect. Storm, listen, Storm for my money has been one of the more impactful characters. I think she was like, even when we were in the moment of hit scan, I think Storm had some things to say, but recently she got a small little shift in almost a rework where she's able to battle it out with some extra blue health by way of basic attacks, and I think she's an excellent choice. So very, very glad to see teams picking her up and protecting her.
Yeah, I want to see more Storm going forward. It's a shame that we don't have the Jeff NATO team up anymore, but honestly speaking, people didn't utilize it outside the first week of it coming out more. Star-Lord is going to be reserved as well. Movement options for the duelist side will be very important, especially if Storm doesn't work out. I think that's a good reservation just in case. But what interests me the most is that Phoenix is going to be reserved from Southern main side, and that might be their contingency plan to ensure that they could try to shut down the Storm.
Absolutely. I might have even gone so far to ban the Phoenix rather than the Hela if I'm WVU, because don't forget, Phoenix has an interaction with that ultimate that destroys all deployables. We all know how well she kills the rocket ult, but she also takes down overhealth, blue health, which is Storm's whole thing. So when Storm goes into the Omega Hurricane, she just starts tearing up the backline. You hear the Phoenix go up, the Phoenix comes down, and so does the Storm. So with the Storm Protect for WVU Tech, we know that Plum's going to be bringing her out. She's out there across the way. Starkiller 7 playing the, I mean, I'm going to say the outright counter. It's hit scan, and the ult kind of counteracts the Storm ult as well. So can Storm play into the Phoenix? Absolutely. Does she want to? No. And if Starkiller saves that ultimate for when Storm goes, it's kind of GG.
Uh-oh. Well, we're going back to our pretty little faces real quick. I mean, you know, we got a great snapshot of what we can expect to see from Southern main side. You hypothesized early on that we would see the Elsa ban. I think 9.9 times out of 10, you would be right that Elsa would be banned out. And you put all of your chips in the Storm basket for the Bears. Now you have an Elsa up against you. Now you have a Phoenix up against you. And a Gambit up against you on domination.
Well, here's the fun part about the balance of the equation, is that Storm's up top. She's bringing out good damage. She's got a threatening ultimate, obviously. She's providing stuff to her teammates. And the opposing team has crafted a damage line to deal with her.
Okay.
Well, where's Star-Lord at? All of a sudden, there's all this space for the off-angle Star-Lord to come out, find the 45 degree, and then just snap people down, farm the Galactic Ultimate of his own, which might even be more impactful than Phoenix's, especially when we take into effect, or than Storm's, especially when we take into the idea that the Phoenix going to speak directly to the Storm in her ultimate. So when it all comes down to pressing Q, Star-Lord still one of the better characters, even with the large 20% shifts. The game is not just about feeding the superstar. It's about making space. And so if everybody's looking at the Storm, nobody's looking at the Star-Lord. So we'll see how that line does, because it's important to remember it's a DPS line, not one person.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Dodd. Did we see the Storm lock in just before we went back to our faces, or was it only the Storm?
No, we said that they had the Storm and the Star-Lord on their side. Yep. They had both of them.
We have both of those in line. There's not really large amounts of damage. Of course, the Storm can do damage, but because you have double hit scan up against you, I'm not expecting to see the full fruition of what a Storm can bring out. That's going to put a lot more pressure, like you said, on that Galactic Legend to come out from Star-Lord to have that pop-off potential. But when you're in between those ults, especially after that 20% shift, like you mentioned, that's going to put a lot more pressure on the Vanguards to get that frag ability.
A little bit, for sure. I think one of the undervalued, under-remembered parts of Storm's kit, because, like, Storm is bottom 3 played heroes going into Season 7. After Season 7 rework, she probably jumped up a bunch, but she is bottom 3 played hero. She was bottom 3 played heroes going into this one. I think people largely forget her basic attack's Pierce. So you think of Storm as this flyer chilling up on top, but when you're playing against double hit scan, you're going to play on the bottom, and you're shooting through the Vanguards into the damage line. Your right click is doing the same thing, and then God forbid anybody gets too close, Goddess boost, and you start zapping people with your PBAOE. So Storm becomes really, really worrisome if she's in your face.
Well, speaking of worrisome, I think there might be a storm outside. Unfortunately, our observer's been blown away in a gigantic hurricane. We had to go to a small break. I gotta go save Wenzel's farm and make sure that doesn't blow away. We'll be right back. Nailed down Wenzel's farm. We are finally good, but I can't say the same for one of these two teams. 35 to 40% F-Dot. Things are looking pretty good for WVU.
Certainly coming out clean right now, although we take a look at some of the ultimates, and it looks like Southern Maine are able to at least make themselves known and take the point. All of that off of Knis's ult. We got there just as it ended, but the Invisible Woman dropped the pillar. That was enough to go ahead and own it. Now, Magneto will have his ult available for the next push, but of course, Magneto's ult, especially on defense, is more of an answer. I don't know if it's going to be able to answer the gambit that's coming from VWU.
Yeah, very excited to see Akechi. What can he bring out here? Big Persona fan over on the University of Southern Maine side. Big fan as well. It's going to be, though, will the Raging Royal Flush find that impact? Plum has swapped away from the Storm. We're not going to quite see the end song Inferno just yet. But as Akechi Guro could set it up, it's shut down by Busy. Galactic Legends underway. And that is a team wipe from WVU. Everybody is shut down except for Starkiller.
So hard to deal with both the Star-Lord and the Raging Royal Flush out of Jordan, so great job from WVU to double stack their ultimates. Magneto did answer. Wasn't a great one. Don't love that. But however, University of Southern Maine do have, well, kind of the same vibe. They're going to press W with the Rogue alongside their own Raging Royal Flush. Busy thinks about getting fancy, but then returns to the ground floor, and we'll have another engage. There's the Rogue ult.
Oh, Heartbreaker causing a heart attack. This is going to be the marriage duo. I've never seen a healthier relationship in my life, but the Meteor M could shut it down. That's not quite the case, though. Things aren't looking great for WVU. They're holding the line so close to 100%. The Bach Shiesty is losing everybody else around him. A Vanguard who cannot guard his team. They're forced to a reset as University Southern Maine takes it back again.
Huge trust in the support line from Starkiller. This is a Phoenix. This is a long-range, quote-unquote, poke character. She is not supposed to be on the point battling it out, but trusted Knis and was able to live it out. Now a second push through the portal for WVU.
Oh, but look at the ult stack up here from WVU's side. As long as they can hold the line and use this portal to their advantage, they could be able to stack it up and break the 97%. That's not the case, though. Dark Killer and Elsa SSK have shut down the line, have taken it back 97 to 99. No chance of returning. What a turnaround from Southern Maine.
Yeah, this was real. Just trust in the support line. We joined a little bit late. Both maps are going to go their direction, so one in the bucket for them Southern Maine guys.
Wow, wonderful work overall. You know, we didn't get quite to see the first point too much, my friend, but you know, we saw the lock-ins and we did talk about it during our break. We saw double hit scan up against the Storm. As much as you were saying that Storm is mother, and I agree, she is the most motherly mother I've ever seen, didn't quite last as long as we had hoped, and no impact really found.
I mean, it's just really tough going up against the Phoenix and the Elsa line. Where I'm from, you don't let Elsa play the game. And with 19 finals, over 13.5K damn, 33, 2, and 4 being the slash line for SSKC Brown. Yeah. Ban the Elsa. That is my hard-hitting analysis here, girls, is ban the Elsa. Listen, I think it's very, very important, and shout out to Brady who started some nonsense on Twitter talking about how, like, don't worship your content creators' tier lists. I agree. Yeah. Know what you play your game, all that stuff. However, once in a blue moon, once in a blue moon, things happen. Elsa is happening. Just ban the Elsa. It really is just that simple. She's too dynamic. She's a mid-range hero with long-range capability and the ability to go in close. It's just silly. Yes, she eats Storm, but she eats everybody. And this is on a map that she doesn't do. It's not that she doesn't do well on it. This just isn't her map. You give her more Final Destination pits to push people off of, and that Glartrox goes to work. So this is what it looks like when she plays on a map that is not conducive to her victory conditions. What's going to happen when you play on a map that she likes?
Ooh, that's a good question, F. Dot. Now, my secondary follow-up question off of that would be is that, okay, we banned the Elsa. That's perfectly good. What do we get rid of in the original ban line from game 1 that has to be let through now? Is that the Moon Knight?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, in the lower ranks, you will see Moon Knight banned out. Moon Knight is beat by coordination, right? Like, how do you beat a Moon Knight? Just don't hold hands. Just spread out. It's kind of that simple. Yes, exactly. That goes with spread out, right? Absolutely. We're on the same boulevard here. And so, like, that is, I don't love a Moon Knight ban. I feel like if I'm coaching a Division 7 team, that might be the number one. I might make them scrim against Moon Knight every single night so they get used to it and they learn how to play around it. Because characters like Elsa are a little too spicy to deal with, whereas Moon Knight, that's a jalapeno. You eat a couple of them and you're fine. So
I love
me too. Get used to the taste of Moon Knight and just deal with it. Is my vibe.
I wish I could taste Moon Knight all night long, my
Stop
friend.
that.
But Hollow the Jolly is going to be up next, and we'll get to see if Moon Knight will survive into it or not. Hopefully, we can only hope, if we want to have a very competitive series, that Elsa will be banned out. Yeah. And if it's not, I'd be very concerned.
I mean, with the performance, we are playing a best of 3, right? And when it comes down to it, your first game can be a little bit of a test of the water, right? You don't have to jump in to swim here. You can stick your little toes in. And this time around, they were like, hey, prove to me that you're good enough at the Elsa. And, well, they've proven it. So I think it's a misstep to not ban Elsa game 1.
Okay.
I think it's a mistake to not ban Elsa game 2 after what you saw on map 1.
I think it's interesting too. We've been focusing so much on the duelist for this first matchup, and I mean, it makes sense, right? But we also did see the Loki and the Venom banned out. Loki, I fully expect to be another hard ban coming out from Southern Maine side, but the Venom ban? I'm really on the fence about that. It's not something we see terribly often, but it's also not unheard of.
The Venom ban to me speaks to just knowledge base. Not necessarily, hey, they have a Venom guy that's real good, but more that they like to play dive. Because when I look at dive tanks, every once in a while you run into that guy that's actually Bruce Banner. Sure, Venom is an annoyance. These characters are annoyances by themselves, but when you pair them up with a Daredevil or a Psylocke or a whatnot, now you have a recipe for disaster. Okay. So by taking one part of that combo away, if you look at their off tank and you know that off tank plays Venom and you know the DPS line plays dive, you take the Venom out of the conversation, now you have a larger opening? Question mark. That's my question mark. Venom is a high play. He's played often at professional level, at rank level, all across the board. A curious ban, though. So yeah, why would you see a Venom banned? To deny the double dive is my statement, but I don't know if that's exactly what they were doing. I might revisit it.
Okay. Well, we have the perfect timing here to see whether or not that Venom will make it through into Game 2. We're just about to head over to the Hall of Jajalia to see if it will be the same bans again. All eyes should be on Southern Maine's side. Is that going to be the Elsa or the Loki hard ban first?
Well, we're going to go Punisher again. So WVU kind of showing their hand here. If I'm Southern Maine, I don't ban the Storm, right? The Storm is already knocked out in map 1, so don't need to worry about it. And the Protect here is what I'm most interested in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, my question is, are we going to see a Storm Protect again? I would say
not if we don't change our bans up. Obviously, Storm wasn't even played. We jumped in during the second round of the first map, and there was no Storm on the board anymore. So that flyer becomes very susceptible. They're thinking about it here, and it won't be. It will be the Emma follow-up. Yeah, I think I hate the Punisher ban, first off. I don't love that. I think the Elsa is more impactful than the Punisher could be. So, oof.
Yeah, maybe it's just, bad experiences from WVU's side. Could be a target ban, too. But, I mean, if SSK has been a notorious Punisher player, you get rid of that. You're not really getting rid of the disease, just a symptom. And that's the Elsa still remaining. A Moon Knight ban again. So, okay.
Sure.
I mean, look, if you're not playing Storm anymore, I can understand the Moon Knight ban a little bit more this time around, but honestly speaking, WVU, despite not winning Game 1, I still think they make out with the better picks and bans.
So WVU over here banning both the Rogue and the Gambit. I figured they would just ban one half of it, but they will ban both of them. So that's something that we've got to look out for. Star-Lord Protect as well as the Emma on the one side. On the other side, University of Southern Maine has that Elsa. So that's what I'm going to be staring at a whole lot, is the Elsa. And right away, we'll talk about the Ultron. I'm actually looking at the Angie. So an Angela with no dedicated dive usually burns my biscuits.
Okay.
But
I do not want your biscuits burned.
Elsa, I told you, she's clearly top-down designed for mid-range brawl. She's got long hit scan type abilities, but also she gets survivability by walking around and doing her thing. She gets a whole bunch of blue health. So that's really where I look at it mid-range. You can very easily turn that into dive. So what I'm looking at here for University of Southern Maine is they're going to be playing more in that mid-range. Starkiller going to be punishing some of the group up as WVU kind of pushes in, and they look to punish either the entryway from Garage or from that main avenue. And then Brown can either make the wraparound with Jay or just kind of fight down main. Either way, this Elsa looking very good once again.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Maine right now has all the pieces they needed to win game number 1. They did win game number 1. It's just a matter of whether they can continue in game number 2. J11, like you mentioned, the Angela may try to poke the back line, the disruptive strategist. We'll have to wait and see. Bach Shiesty no longer on a Vanguard themselves. Plum now on a Vanguard instead. That will be Bach Shiesty immediately gone from the hands of the hit scan. I assume this Ultron will immediately swap.
No worries. I've got your back.
We'll see. We'll see.
Really? Against
The
double
idea-
hit scan?
The idea is that Ultron doesn't have to be in range at all. That's Ultron's kind of gimmick, is that he can hang out from a far range, give his Star-Lord, who wants to be extremely agile, the drone, and just kind of from a distance, like Bette Midler, provide that sustain. So it's up to Bach Shiesty to play crafty in order to get this done. Not impossible, but an uphill battle.
Could you argue that Luna Snow Snowflake can do the same thing and still be a little bit more reliable?
Luna Snow has to be more active there, and then doesn't really provide the offensive prowess that you want as a tertiary healer. But either way, Bach Shiesty making it work here, and enough to go ahead and claim at least a third of the point relatively easily, as the rest of the team kind of walks up, puts 3 down, including the 2 tanks, and that should be the whole conversion point for WVU on the offense.
Yeah, outside of SSK Brown getting that initial opening pick off of Bach Shiesty, it really felt like there wasn't much competition.
Yeah, not really at all. I was a little concerned when Busy made the first push and got taken down. You see that for all the time. Star-Lord looks to farm the ultimate, jump over everybody, spin to win, usually gets out of there. Not able to do this time, so I started biting my nails, but, well, he started putting the nails in the coffins, and, well, that was all she wrote. So we'll see another defense right here.
Nails belong on your fingers, silly, not inside of a coffin. We finally get to see Apex Predator, though, from SSK Brown. It has to make an appearance. There's 4 different ultimates on the side for Southern Maine. As Ultron's Rage finally descends on down, the hit scan off of Elsa could be enough to shut it underway, but no, the environment is working up against SSK. Ultron's Rage does create some space. Not much stopping power just yet, and even then, Apex Predator, you would think this would be a perfect opportunity for SSK, but he hasn't brought it out. Oh,
Yeah,
but
Brown's
there we
gonna
go,
walk up on the
Eternal
top right
Bond on top
side.
of a Meteor M, but it misses F-Dot.
Yeah, great juke here coming out from the C&D. And so Plum has been very good on the defensive side as this Magneto, but unable to really find the offensive moment that need be. So Brown's able to go ahead and shove out the Glartrox and also the wayside, but the push is good enough. So great space, and we'll have to see a re-incursion here from WVU. Full regroup, about 3.5 on the clock.
That's right, 3.5 minutes, plenty of time to redo this once again from WVU's side. They did lose game number 1, and they're going to have a lot of ground to retread into game number 2. Bach Shiesty at 90 HP, makes it back into the fray. Invisible Boundary on top of Psionic Seduction up from Ninja Remover. There's going to be a lot more pushing power from the side of WVU. It's something we lacked to see in game 1, but they finally find their tide. That's going to be 3 bodies going off of Southern Maine. A huge stagger up against the defense. Day does have Heaven's Retribution available, but as we see ping number 2 go into WVU's favor, you're going to have to sit and wait.
I want to give a huge shout out to Benny over there with the Invisible Woman ult. Make sure to pop it in that hallway. It's harder to defend there. You're further away from the angles. So you pop it in the hallway, guaranteeing that push. You're ready to make another defense on the underpass. Didn't have to, actually, because of that stagger you pointed out. And now we're already 1/4 of the way into the last point.
J11's trying to play that distraction game against Bach Shiesty. Worked for a few moments. Maybe delay the Rage of Ultron from coming through. That's Endsong Inferno underway. Heaven's Retribution could easily follow up next. Maybe an Eternal Bond at the hands of Akechi. Not quite. You've been seeing Southern Maine be very conservative with their ultimates usage, but even then, though, Bach Shiesty barely escaping. The heals are still coming out, but no Rage of Ultron just yet. Meteor M available, waiting very patiently for Akechi to use his ult first.
Good takedown there from Starkiller to make sure that Bach Shiesty does have to sit down. Of course, it's just the Ultron, so there are 2 fresh and ready to go supports along for the ride. Benny and Jordan next door on the Cloak and Dagger. So ultimately not a huge deal, but here comes the extermination. Another push from WVU.
There we go. Heaven's Retribution with a Meteor M directly on top. Akechi still holds with the Eternal Bond, and so does Jordan next door. Neither one of which will be countered down until Plum brings out his ultimate. But the Glartrox out, and Apex Predator underway. Snipes SSK from the back line into an invisible boundary. And a Galactic Legend directly on top. Great counter play to come through, but Busy still manages to find one. That's J11 gone. The stall in the back doesn't work. An Eternal Bond creates a red carpet proverbially for the entire attacking team to bring themselves to 3. With Dark Killer now in the grave and SSK respawn back, there's a big stagger for the Duelists on the defense.
Dark Killer's going to be up now. For the ultimate from Ninja. Doesn't really matter, as Brown's able to take down 2 separate players, 1 duelist and 1 healer. So that means WVU will be light on the heels. Very important ultimate coming out here from Benny. Keeps the team up for just a matter of moments, but it was just Benny. Starkiller steps up, puts the healer in the ground, and now we have another push from the defensive team, and a necessary one. With just under 2 minutes to go, Keg, they were so close to getting shoved down.
Dude, SSK is a raid boss. As soon as he comes back into the server, the entire feed goes in his favor.
Very important to knock those down. That is your job. Starkiller here, their job, look at Bach Shiesty, deal some AoE damage. Brown's job, take care of everything else. And that last Apex Predator wasn't pretty. So very important that they can get it done during the neutral, because the ultimates haven't been highlight reel worthy.
Oh, okay. We'll have to talk about that in a second. 90% now, and Song Inferno could be the chance to turn things around. A direct shot was not enough. Heals were out immediately, and Jay finally spearheads one of the fish inside the ocean. That's Busy gone. But WVU, they're losing the entire back line. That's going to be Benny underway. Jordan next door is not long for this world either. Bach Shiesty is at 1 HP. Bro is in hospice care, but unfortunately the plug has been pulled. Dark Killer is out for blood and finds 2 more.
Very important play here from J11 to go ahead and get rid of Jordan next door. Specifically targeted the support. I said earlier that, in general, I don't love the lonely Angela. I want to see her paired up with another sort of dive, but there are no hard and fast rules. And if Jay is going to target that support over and over again and leave just an Ultron and someone else, that's good enough.
We've been stuck on that same choke for the last 2 minutes, F-Dot. Things are not looking good. There's 15 seconds left on the clock. The Rage of Ultron's underway. Jordan next door is close to the Eternal Bond, but guess what? Akechi brings his out, and the Meteor M doesn't connect. It's a Galactic Legend from behind the scenes. SSK falls. If there's a chance now to bring this home into overtime, it has to be on his respawn timer. Finally now, Jordan, Eternal Bond underway. No one can see a dang thing. So much chaos all at once, but now is the chance to finally push. But there's a problem, F-Dot. SSK is back.
Ready to go. Important play from WVU Tech. Candace actually got their ultimate off and then stepped out of it, so a mistake, but did get some worth out of the ult. However, overtime's ticking down. This is our final push. We do have Benny's ult on the side of WVU, but that's got to be enough.
No invisible boundary. So much happening at once. I'm seeing every color of the rainbow.
No.
And it's unknown and SSK. That's the entire team gone in WVU. They were so close, but they can't guarantee overtime.
Huge play to focus the invisible woman. I set the table before that fight. WVU Tech, the only thing they had to their name was that invisible woman ultimate. Shields go up. The entirety of Southern Maine stares at her, puts her down. Pillar goes down. Shields are down. Team goes down. Only 2 points.
We go down. Everything goes down, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk to me about this Angela, because I know you weren't a big fan of it from the defensive side. There wasn't really much follow-through besides just the Angela for the backline struggles, right? But I felt like we finally started seeing Jay get that proper foundation towards the very end of that last point.
Absolutely. Like Jay's entire, the difference between a good Angela and a bad Angela in a diveless composition is target prioritization. If Jay is targeting the wrong people, constantly going for a kidnap and missing, it's just not going to work out. Instead, Angela is an assassin. We are solo tanking this game, and we are playing 5 into 6, which, when there was an Ultron along for the ride, was kind of fine. Now, normally you'd expect the Angela to be babysitting, or whatever the aggressive form of babysitting is, against the Flyer. But honestly, the Phoenix player had it done. Like, Phoenix was dealing with the Flyer no problem. So Angie was just looking for the healer the entire time. And it worked out. So we'll see if it works out again this time, as Busy knows what's up. And we'll be guarding Garage here, making sure that Angela doesn't get in for free.
A lot of info.
Another one, Namor.
Beautiful work. Yeah, important to note that we've been seeing SSK Brown pop off on the Elsa for the entirety of the last game and a half. Swapping over to the Namor, though, will help the backline a lot more, even benefit Jay for this very forward aggressive attack. The Busy shuts down both on respawn timers. WVU on their defense now. They're going to have to pull a lot of rabbits out of their hats.
Gotta make some magic here. Big difference here from WVU, however, taking Bach Shiesty out of the air and putting him on a tank. So gone is the Ultron, and hello to Emma, which is a great look specifically against this Angela. She'll be able to get the choke slam done. But at the moment, University of Southern Maine having a harder time getting onto the point than WVU did last time with just a single push.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. All it took was SSK Brown in that very first push, and then everybody else was suddenly on point. But we do get to see the Quiet Snipes team up from Star Killer, and SSK does help out quite a bit here. Beautiful work overall. And as we say that, of course, it's the caster's curse, man. Everyone gets on site.
Absolutely. Took him 2 shots instead of 1. Not a big deal. Shiesty will not be able to get this portal in time, so the point confirmed. And ultimately, I don't walk through this portal. This is a fool's errand. They've already got the push. There's an automatic push of the card. Even if you do wipe them, they spawn in front of you. This is a poor choice.
Could argue maybe you're playing for the stall early on. The payload's not pushing any further out. It does help bring out Agamotto earlier on. Bach Shiesty does get a double, almost a triple KO off of it. I guess off of respawn, maybe we could see an Agamotto played very aggressive.
That's fair. Okay, I'll give you that. Being able to farm up just a little bit more, catch him right here.
4 ults, almost 6.
Southern, that's what I'm looking at. The Southern Maine also have a whole bunch of ults as well. As long as they come out of the gates coordinated, because right here they have an easy pincer, and you can see some of that happening. Magneto coming from the left side with the rest of the team coming from the right. Unfortunately, Strange here in the garage, ready to explode with his AoE down.
Oh, I'm going to give you a hot take. If I'm WVU, I'm not using a single ult here, but I'm going to try to force Southern Maine to use all of them. That's 2 gone. Horn of Proteus and Star Killer bringing out Goddess of Death. That's a pretty good dub already, considering, again, the convoy only now has moved, and the payload's already been out for a minute.
1,000,000%. Both teams are sitting here saying, no, don't use any ults, but WVU is partying on the company's dime. Like I said, I wouldn't even, going through that portal obviously wasn't the wrong choice. It largely worked out, but it's a questionable choice. And so when you're there, you're like, hey, we actually won the fight. Don't use anything, and we'll fight. This is where you, quote unquote, expect to fight on this boulevard. So,
hey, Heaven's Retribution. 6 ultimates here to counter it out. Meteor M on top. Unknown, what can he find? Does he take down the Eternal Bond Wielder? The answer is no, but there was a stun. We do get to see Soul Resurgence from the Mantis as well for the back line. Galactic Legend directly on top. No real direct counter. Forces out the Eternal Bond as I say that. But look at this. Outside of the Eternal Bond coming out late, you've lost Starkiller. You've lost the Invisible Woman. That is enough damage already.
Huge push there, and that's really what you're looking for out of Busy. 2 takedowns is good, but not enough to actually stop the card. The follow-up, however, certainly is Lonely Magneto. See you later. And a great cleanup here from WVU. So still a couple of minutes on the clock here, specifically 2. And University of Southern Maine will get another push. They do have shields up. But that's about it. I don't really care about the Namor ult. So we'll see how this one works. They're going to have to go at it in the neutral and deal with 2 giant initiation ults from the Vanguards. Plus, Benny's got shields of her own. So this is not a fight that Southern Maine has in advantage. They want to force out at least one of these ults and win on the next push.
Oh, there it is, though. Strangling in Prison is going to help out well. Bach Shiesty has been holding on to this Agamotto since time itself was started. Will he find it? Canis does shut down Plum. That was a beautiful job. Well done from University of Southern Maine. And they've still got to push this convoy on forwards. This could be a very tough chokehold. But the fact so far that WVU have been very stagnant with their ultimates usage has been pretty good for Southern Maine to use them all at once. Oh, there it is! Hello, Agamotto! Did it find anybody?
Nope.
Oh, no.
Checkpoint, please. WVU, a couple of whiffs there. Benny does still have her ultimate, but it's going to be, got to find the right point. And right now, it is not the right point. Down goes WVU Tech, and Southern Maine didn't even use a lot. That is the biggest takeaway I'm walking away here from the Huskies, is that they went into that fight down ultimates and wound up winning the fight and now have the ultimate advantage. And, you know, much love, but a little bit of a misplay from Plum and Bakshiesty.
Yeah. Seems like right now Southern Maine have had their ult coordination working out pretty dang well in their favor. Busy does remove Starkiller from the equation. A Vanguard of Unknown Bow the same. There's going to be a few more ultimates on the clock that could help out mitigate those three fallen heroes. Could help out well, but I think at this point, you have enough time on the clock for University of Southern Maine to just reset.
Yeah, 90 up top. Busy just popped their ultimate. Now, WVU does have two available. They have the giant support ults from both the Mantis and the Cloak and Dagger. University of Southern Maine has
one player
everything
is who doesn't have the counter for the Eternal Bond.
Yeah, that Magneto doesn't have the choice available, so got to make the push here, and it'll be Jordan next door that rolls out the carpet.
Double Eternal Bond is out. They cancel each other, but the Soul Resurgence directly on top will be a nice little Jared for the equation itself. Heaven's Retribution's gone. No chance of a Meteor M from Unknown. And even though they do cancel each other out, Plum is out with double stun ults directly on top. Okay, sure. I guess it works.
Miscommunication for sure. You don't want to use both, and that might hurt, because if I'm WVU Tech, the call is to die. And I'm not kidding. Fall down here and regroup. Just immediately kind of wipe and get back quickly, because they've got 30 seconds to defend here. They blew some of their initiation ultimates on a bad look, and they won't have another one available. Canis on the defensive end and Starkiller on the offensive end. Southern Maine got a pocket full of stinkies, and they're ready to dance.
And hey, look, Southern Maine, they don't even have to get to the end. They only have to get to that yellow marker directly on top. It's pretty dang close, but the Goddess of Death will make things a lot easier. Ninja Remover's gone, and so is Benny. That's the entire back line gone. The Vanguards, they couldn't protect those who needed it most. And with Southern Maine, they have a direct line of sight to get to that boundary, and that's a good 2-0 for the team.
You said it. That is a great 2-0 for the team. Biggest thing here for University of Southern Maine is just how strong their ultimate economy was. They made sure not to use everything when they could have. And here's the biggest thing, Keg, is that these games, even like, haha, Division 7, I don't care. These players are good. These players know what they're doing. You're always going to have the moments that you have to take advantage of. And University of Southern Maine made some foibles, and WVU Tech didn't really find their moment to wrestle with those issues. Whereas WVU Tech made a couple of missteps where we saw Bakshiesty and Plum pop their ults at the same time. That could be a mistake that goes unpunished. Not this time around. As soon as we saw both of those initiations used, we saw the other side from Southern Maine just full on push, because there was no threat whatsoever of the big prison, or the Eye of Agamotto. So those are those opportunities that you have to take note of and make moves for. And Southern Maine were just a little bit more on the point.
Well, NECC is the perfect place to work on that communication and foundational skills to ensure that things like that don't happen in future divisions. Speaking of which, though, Division 7 is done for the day. We have so many divisions of NECC, and I'm being told it was not over just yet. It's a 2-0, but there could only be one more match to see. Whether or not it does end for the day, though, this could become 3 games in a row from Southern Maine. But this is the time now. There's a small little break, then maybe WVU can turn it around. There's not much more time left, my friend. We're going to go to a small break, and we'll see if this does turn into a 3-0. The Forge Trials will be happening, and I gotta say, uncommon traits have been something that's very interesting for both these teams, Mr. F. You've been conjuring, finagling in your brain, no less, about what we can expect to see from these two teams, and I'm very curious to see what you've come up with.
Yeah, sure. These 3 uncommon traits are brought to you by the Army National Guard. Find your calling at nationalguard.com. And basically what I've got for you are Number one, ban the Elsa. Listen, you're getting beat by the Elsa. Every team's getting beat by the Elsa. I don't care if you're Frankenstein's monster in Division 25 or if you're FlyQuest themselves. Ban the Elsa. You're not better than it. 2, communication is key. This is a very big deal. We saw multiple times where the big one that I was pointing out earlier was the Vanguards. We saw both initiation ults from the Groot and the Doctor Strange player blowing them at the same time. Communicate with your team. It really is just that simple. A couple of words will win the war. And then, love you, production. Lock the F dot in, girls. This is what you've got to do, okay? Like, this is, simply put, I am just seeing some mistakes happen on the side of WVU. And if they're able to lock in, like, what does that mean? Honestly, give a Friday Night Lights speech. I don't really care. I'm just seeing a lot of, like, loose finagling. So, little bit more attention to detail, and I think we see a W next to the WVU.
Big respect for saying Frankenstein's monster, not just Frankenstein. I appreciate you
Different
doing
thing.
that. Yeah, exactly, but most people don't realize that. Gotta say, though, I agree with you. I hope we get to see teams lock the F dot in, and we gotta see what the uncommon traits for USM are, because they've had a pretty good time so far. They've gone 2-0, but, you know, presented by the Army National Guard, they gotta play their own game, protect against the dive, and one last push. Very curious about that last one, F dot. I feel like that last push has been maybe the weakest part of their kit, even though they have been able to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. They're able to find that last moment for sure. I'm thinking more macro than micro. You know, this is a squad. They've got two in their pocket. All of their previous matches are either 3-0s or 3-2s, which means they have trouble kind of converting this final game. So this one last push is going to be very, very important here. Protect against the dive is a little bit of an asterisk because we've got a little bit of, well,
yeah,
we haven't seen the dive,
divers.
but the long range stuff from the other side hasn't worked. So if I'm going into game number 3 against this, coaching my team, my Southern Maine squad that's up 2-0, and they haven't dealt with the dive, I'm saying this game, be aware of the dive. You never know. Just be aware of the dive.
I mean, it's Yggdrasil next, man. There's gonna be so much dive potential, right? I mean, USM have already banned out the Venom. They're expecting a dive every game, but it hasn't shown up.
I mean, the biggest thing that the biggest counter argument to protect against the dive is, why don't you see dive in ranked? Because dive requires communication. Why are we beating the other team? Because they lack communication. So is the team with poor communication going to go into the communication heavy composition? Probably not, but always you got to expect the unexpected.
That's
At least
true.
that's what they say. So
I wake up each morning never knowing what to expect, and that's the best way to live life. But I think we can expect to at least see the Loki hardband, maybe the Punisher hardband first here too. If there's one map I think we see today where it makes the most sense to start off with a Punisher ban, I do think it's Yggdrasil.
sure, that's what I want to see.
Or not! Okay!
Easy.
I mean, I agree.
Should have been game 2, and honestly,
game 1.
should have been game 1. Like, I don't understand what we're doing here, but we got here, and that's all that matters, because this is a first 2-3. If WVU Tech wins the next 3 games, we don't remember the first 2. It never happened. They walk away. So, if this is where they start turning up, they start turning up. However, earlier today, you did allude that Punisher ban might have been player specific, and with the protect across the way, I am going to venture a guess that it was.
I am bewildered by these bans. I mean, for WVU, it looks great. You have Elsa gone, you have Phoenix gone. That's what you have to worry about the most. The Venom Protect does imply that WVU may have learned their lesson from the first 2 games and want to double down on that dive.
Like I said, if the first 2 times the long-range poke just isn't working for you, maybe you've got to switch things up. Maybe you have to go in the other direction. So I think that's what we're seeing here. The Venom Protect, and this second Protect I'm very interested in with that Venom, because you've got the dive Vanguard. So who are you going to pair with it? Characters like
a strategist.
all of the dive. Okay, the Atom.
Not what I was expecting.
Neither me.
I was expecting definitely like a tertiary strategist to come out, but I was thinking more the lines of like maybe a Mantis because we saw it last game. But the Atom does make a lot of sense if you want to go heavy dive. You just have the constant replenish value of constant respawns alongside the Star-Lord. Hela's banned too. Triple hit scan gone. Does this mean Mr. F.
He's smelling it. He's smelling it.
Is
He's smelling it.
Mother
Say
back?
it. Say it.
Is
She's
this
back.
the return of Mommy?
Yeah. We gonna see some Aurora. I think we're gonna see Aurora come out. You've got the two big hit scan bans. The Punisher is scary, and honestly, the fun part is that I think before the Storm change, where she gets health on her basic attacks, Punisher was the least threatening hit scan for her. Now I think it's the most threatening hit scan outside of the ultimate interaction with the way Phoenix goes, but that's besides the point. So, like, not great to have to deal with the Punisher. However, we saw on that last map, and less on the first one, but on the second map specifically, we saw how strong play with the verticals can actually avoid some of the sight lines. We will not get the Storm this time around.
Not yet.
We're gonna go
30 seconds before you attack.
name. There she is.
Oh.
Ha ha! It's your boy. Told you.
Now, I'm not going to disagree with you, man, but as someone who certifiably does not think when they play this game, I'm a Punisher main, and usually when I see a Storm on the enemy side, I think it's free real estate, and I love taking her out. So I'm curious to see if Starkiller's going to find that impact, but I imagine WVU is going to have more coordination and healing teamwork than my ranked games. But to be fair, for WVU, those callouts with the double ults were a major issue in game 2, so who knows? Maybe that will be something that helps or hurts them a lot.
Southern Maine playing back here means that Storm's going to be able to... This is where you expect Storm to kind of play at the beginning, right? Use this giant skyscraper for protection and just kind of vibe here. Playing the Venom into the Invis is not a lot of fun. She can pull you out of your swing away, and everything can go awry as a result. So something to keep in mind for all you Bach Shiesty fans out there. We'll see how the Venom goes.
A little bit of housekeeping really quick before the ultimates get started, though. We do have a player swap coming up from WVU's side. That's going to be Busy, who was the Star-Lord these last 2 games, now replaced by Type Point, who's the Adam Warlock. Does make sense to maybe see having the reserve here. Type Point is a Lord on Adam to have him out more, but so far, seems like it's working well. Plum massacring everybody on Southern Maine side with that newfound Winter Soldier. That's an easy P1.
Very important play there. Of course, you know, we know how the Bucky water falls, but you almost always need help. And so, good follow-up from their teams as well. Love to see that. And the Storm quickly chased off. I like that, though. You go for the play. Oh, Starkiller's on it. Never mind. But make
the
them
goats are
force you
stuck.
off it, you know?
I like this portal again. We saw this back in Hall of the Jalia. Even though it's a little late for P1, you can still rack up ult charge a little bit quicker off of it. Now, considering each ult is slower to be gained up, I think that is a good move. Over 3 minutes on the clock, too. You'll be able to have that again once overtime swings its way back around. Ninja Remover does have Agamotto set up and ready to go. Only Type Point does not have Karmic Revival left. But everybody else with their ults, and it looks like a shutdown was brought out against the Meteor M from Bach Shiesty, or at least J11 stuck it away. It'd be pretty easy.
This might be the hardest choke in the game. Very difficult to push in here. Only outdone by, I think, Dracula's Castle, but everybody runs away from the Punisher, taking down the shield, shooting down the hallway, and not enough to find a knockdown, but after the fact, there we go. 3 players fall, and the dominoes will slide into place. Starkiller, nothing off the ultimate, everything off of the follow-up. Give me a side of cheesy bread. Down go the dominoes.
Wonderful work. We've seen this position before, though. University of Southern Maine, despite not having too much distance on that payload, they have been able to use their ults pretty quickly. WVU, though, they hold on to it for a very long time. Bach Shiesty was a big point of contention. Held on to the Agamotto for a very long time back on map 2. Just a matter now, with full 6 ults to be used. Heartbreaker's underway. J11's removing the ult charge off of many different players. But through it all, still, University of Southern Maine, they have been massacring WVU. That's going to be one Vanguard gone. No chance of a Karmic Revival just yet. And Plum can't bring out the Kraken impact either. WVU, they've held on to most of their ultimates, F-Dot, but the invisible boundary out somewhere. I don't know where, and Agamotto directly on top. Maybe now is a chance to bring it back. Starkiller shuts that down before it can even really begin with a Raging Royal Flush directly on top. Meteor M with a bubble to go. Still snipes away from the flusher.
Contact slam for unknown. Fantastic job.
Oh,
and
no.
the resurrection
Oh,
location
no.
seed and her.
Oh, no.
Starkiller puts down tie point 5. The other 3 don't get taken down. So a good revivification. However, the fight after the fact still stuck in the mud. Southern Maine doing a great job of putting up this defensive set. The thing jumps forward. That might change things as Benny's able to find one duelist.
How did they survive?
Will walk away.
How did they do it? I mean, wonderful work overall from WVU. The fact that Typhoid brought out that Karmic Revival. It seemed like the entire enemy team was directly standing in front of these sitting ducks, and the ducks still fired back.
A little bit rough here. Yeah, I think I think Southern Maine might have fallen back a little too far, but here comes the Punisher. Starkiller changes targets, takes one down before he's traded out. Not a great ultimate from the Punisher. The follow-up is not there either. So WVU Tech, they lost a couple here in the exchange keg, but ultimately wind up on top, taking down the supports early and the Vanguards late. And most important, in the beginning, the duelists. So all of that just opened up, and the second point confirmed.
Hey, gotta say, so far, we're seeing one of those uncommon traits that you brought out, man. WVU, they have locked in, and they are finding so much more impact than we've seen in the last 2 games.
Plum. Big impact from Plum. You want to talk about locked in?
Oh, yeah.
Plum's got the seatbelt on. Hands at 10 and 2, baby. It's clobbering time from Ninja, and, well, Ninja gets removed, but it's a 1-for-1 exchange so far, and Starkiller's going to make that a 2-for-1. So the defense winds up on top again. Benny falling down means that WV Tech has to go all the way back, Keg. And that's another rough one.
Monsters have worked well for SSK as well for the back line. That's going to be more bodies staggered out. 3 ultimates are available, but again, WVU, they've pushed enough distance now. They'll have that the Doctor Strange portal relatively soon if time comes to push comes to shove, I should say. But then again, though, Unknown Bo has done such a great job holding the line, absorbing all this damage, having that Meteor M set up and ready for anything that he can use to counter it out. Heartbreaker is underway, sucking the life out of the enemy team, taking that ult charge away with the Meteor M directly on top. Plum assassinated directly where he stands. The Horde of Proteus directly on top of the payload itself. But through it all, though, even if there wasn't a ton of impact, at least then the shield shuts down the Meteor M from Bach Shiesty.
Beautiful play. Brown using the name orb kind of defensively there, getting into the face of the Magneto. That was cute. And on the other side, a very important play taking down Plum.
Just see now the final judgment will find impact. That's going to be Ninja again removed. That being said, though, not a lot of shields on the WVU side, excuse me. But through it all now, J11 swapping over away from the rogue into double shields, having that Emma to help out now. It's going to provide so much extra buffer room to WVU. Of course, as I say that, though, Ninja Remover gone. Now back to the Doctor Strange. Could see that portal make an appearance with 45 seconds left.
Love the switch up here. The rogue works out when you're playing more aggressively, when there's more room to just W key into the opposition, even on defense. Not a criticism of playing it on defense. But however, now where there's less runway, you want to lock players into this fuselage of a hallway. So yeah, pick up the Emma, Choke him out, kick him into the wall. Great play. Love this pick.
Visible boundary. Let's see though if that creates enough space for WVU. SSK Brown is gone. That's the raid boss. Not have to be worried about anymore. WVU may have the perfect runway to get to this final choke and get the P3. They were stopped in their tracks back in Hall of the Jolly right at the very end, but an invisible boundary raises up from Candace's side. There's the Raging Royal Flush from Akechi. I'm waiting for that to come out, but I am Agamotto with Jordan next door bringing out his own Gambit instead will help out. Drakenard smashing away that Star Killer. Gone. You don't have to worry about the hit scan anymore. Plum is unleashed, baby! But will the Meteor M shut down the one who's done the most impact? No! But Unknown Bow gets Invisible Woman and the Doctor Strange. Karmic Revival negates all the huge impact, and Plum once again shows that it's harvest season. He is a farmer waiting to get more of his bountiful harvest. That's wonderful work to see, shoving out all these defenders directly into their spawn. And WVU may have finally woken up as they finally get their first third point.
Plum is the problem. Plum is the problem, and Southern Maine recognized it 2/3 of the way through this matchup. We started seeing so much target prioritization towards the Bucky. In fact, I was kind of scratching my head what Casey Brown was doing here. Why the Namor? Now, let me pump the brakes. We got a little bit of time. Listen,
Okay.
Namor, good enough on his own. I am not saying that Namor is an outright counter machine, like strictly counter, right? Like, if you're playing Wolverine, I kind of only want to see that to address specific Vanguards, unless you're just that boy. But Namor, similar conversation. He's anti-dive. However, Squid 1, Squid 2, right click, left click, does absolutely take down a healer. It absolutely does take down a 250, 275 HP hero. So, strong in his own right, not specifically a rock to the enemy's scissors. However, I don't. Still not my favorite choice.
Okay.
The only thing I can think of is that the Bucky was too divey, and that was the idea behind the Namor. And kudos to the idea. It clearly didn't work. So now we're going to try to fight fire with fire, and Casey Brown's going to go on the Bucky. The Plum, though, that was an MVP performance. If WV Tech brings this one back, not only winning this one, but winning a couple more, Plum is the player that got us here.
Hey, we gotta see if Casey Brown can bring out the same exact theatrics now that he's on the attacking side. Could very well be a possibility. The grab is out with this Penny. I am so... Penny lived? Oh, okay. Had me playing for my heartstrings a little bit there. It seemed like for a second the Penny from goner to nearly surviving couldn't quite make it through, but look at all this distance being made.
Big space. The beginning of the point, generally, given up. The second half, harder to gain. Still, WVU Tech just S-keying. Not a strong front line whatsoever. You know, I think the Penny is...
The Penny's gotta go, man.
It takes a lot for me to call the character a gimmick, and so I won't do that. Basically,
Okay.
because my Twitter's on the screen, and I'll just receive angry tweets. But I don't think my hot take. You want my hot take? I don't
want
think
your
Penny
hottest
is
take.
good on. I don't think Penny is good on payload defense. Convergence, I'm here for it. But when the payload's consistently moving forward, this is what happens. Pull, push, put down, see you later. Where's your active mitt? Where's your... Just gone. So,
Yeah.
just like that, we see the front line fall down not once, twice, chicken soup with rice, and immediately Ninja Remover going to swap off of Pennifer and then go to the thing. So, better look, but...
I'll
Sheesh.
be honest, we haven't really seen the thing from Ninja find as much impact. I mean, it's been around longer than the Penny, but it would instantly fall as soon as it got to the front lines, especially from Star Killer's side. And that was before Casey Brown swapped to the Namor. Now it's a double threat. Ninja immediately goes to the Magneto. I like that choice so much more. But already, we're looking at Southern Maine eye down a 3-0 with 6 minutes on the clock for this final push.
Wow. Yeah, the card hasn't stopped moving at all. And
No.
I'll be honest, very rarely do I like this double shield lineup, but this might be the point for it.
I think this is still too aggressive for the double shields. Ninja Remover, if you're stuck on a timer with the Magneto shield, you may have to go to an Emma instead.
Valid point. I like the mag for the teammate bubble. Nerf or Gnaw. The Strange is certainly the character that might need to be swapped out. But right now, WVU have their first defensive stop of the entire game. And it's right off of the back of the opponent's Raging Royal Flush. So Southern Maine all of a sudden gets stuck in the mud for a moment. Here comes the Executioner. Final Judgment. Enough to blow up the Magneto Meteor. Enough to blow up the Doctor Strange shield. Enough to blow up the healer behind her. Benny goes down for the count. Take out the AR and take down Bach Shiesty. So WVU gets stopped. They get a stop for a moment, Keg, but just a fleeting moment.
A fleeting moment that was shut down by Star Killer, bringing out the Final Judgment. All it took was one ultimate for all of WVU to completely backtrack towards their own spawn. Plum does fall, but Plum hasn't been able to find nearly as much on this defense. Agamotto finally makes an appearance here for the defensive side. Stall potential is out now for WVU, but as soon as I say that, Psionic Seduction, Meteor M with no Final Judgment in reverse to possibly shut it down. Double KO for the entire back line. Unknown Foe is fantastic. A Karmic Revival is out. What can Tie Point find? That's everybody back. Bike Shiesty on the Venom as well for the back line. At least maybe try to remove some of the strength towards it instead of having one giant boulder go up against you. Plum is finally finding their proper footing, and Jordan next door is there to help with the Raging Royal Flush. But again, it might be too late. 4 minutes is on the clock, F-Dot. Look how little the payload has to go.
Still, you got to give credit where credit is due. W-Res from Tie Point 5. That is exactly... when you dream of Adam, that's what you dream about.
I always
right in front of the pearly gates. You get the revive, the whole team comes out, you win the ensuing team fight. Unfortunately for WVU Tech, another ult used without coordination. Strange ults, nobody's there to follow up. Nobody falls down. No elims. No thing coming up good. So now
Singular picks.
Yeah.
Curious to see, though. That's going to make a big difference at the end of the day. WVU's defensive line. They have to worry about the Raging Royal Flush now. Star Killer evades out the Meteor End that could have shut down the Final Judgment. The Final Judgment still hasn't come out yet. It's not necessary. It's just a matter now of seeing this one piece of the environment can keep Star Killer afloat, and it does. He backs out of dodge, gets rid of the Venom. Everybody gets back into their final formation. And with a Final Judgment underway, F-Dot, that shield won't last long for the Magneto side. Everybody else is a squishy heaven, ready to sink your teeth directly into. And Star Killer does such a great job of doing that.
A little bit of mismanagement of the ult. Maybe we can give it to WVU Tech and just great job getting out of there. Either way, now they've got to look for a response, and it's going to be Plum popping the ultimate, landing on one of the backside, but it's Star Killer finding the healer on the front side. Time Point O falling down as well as, well, everybody. Magneto's going to confirm the last one to go. The limbs are strong. And Keg, we're going to overtime.
And overtime finally found WVU. They look strong for their attacking side, but to be honest, glass half empty, it was a weak defense for both teams.
Sure. Definitely an easier map to push than it is to stand. However, there was a distinct upper card here. You know, University of Southern Maine's payload didn't stop at all until 10 to 15% into point number 3, whereas WVU had a number of arduous moments. Specifically, I'm thinking of that the spawn point directly after the capture of the first checkpoint. They got stuck in that hallway, which is one of the harder hallways to burst through in the entire game for sure. Just along sight line, out of the spawn, etc., etc., etc. So, you know, I understand, but there's no understanding context in the win-loss column. It's just W or L. And right now, we'll see how it shakes up.
there were some growing pains, I think, from WVU's side when it came to their defense. We did see Ninja Remover play a variety of different Vanguards. Him swapping over to the Scarlet is definitely interesting. Plum on Squirrel Girl, I think, is so good for P1 here. But this Scarlet just has to degrade out so much health.
I hate this. I think the Squirrel Girl can get some value just by way of, you know, nonsense, like we all know. That's more of what I expected from the Scarlet Witch. With only a minute on the clock up top, not my favorite choice here. You know, the way she plays isn't... You're not catching the enemy off guard, like, oh, we haven't played against the Scarlet Witch all game, we have to change things around. That's not really happening here. She just played front to back and got smoked, so... Don't love this choice. 20 on the clock, and the point moving backwards.
Scarlet's really good if you have, like, your enemy team backlining or triple stratting backline, but that's not the case. It's only a Ketchy and Canis, and they're doing such a great job holding the line. Ninja Remover can't necessarily flank and find that kind of just chip damage away. We do get to see the Squirrel Tsunami out, but there's not a lot of frontline attacking value with just the Squirrel Girl if you only have a Scarlet Witch on top. You're looking at Box Shiesty, you're looking at Plum to do all the damage in the server right now with your own triple strategist lineup. Now Final Judgment is out. Oh my god, okay, what a snipe. Perhaps I spoke too soon. Box Shiesty is him. He locked in.
Very important takedown there with that. That is a large tool here for Southern Maine. They were really depending on that. Honestly, they might have been depending on the Final Judgment to end the round. Instead, we'll go ahead and claim number one, and we have a whole nother fight to go. Again, I'm always going to tap the sign. Real hard to fight here.
Oh yeah, real hard to fight. We do see Southern Maine giving up a lot of extra space. Even though they want to fight on the top ledge here, I think still you want to play as up close as possible. Plum 2 is relying on this extra range to find impact up with the Squirrel Girl. And with the Squirrel Tsunami nearly making a comeback once more. I'm looking at all these ultimates to come out now to beat out that ult. But there's so many ults at once. The Scarlet, prove your work. Oh my god. That's a...
That's a hexa kill. I mean, nothing really else there to say. Nothing really else there to say. She got it.
Have you changed your opinion of the Scarlet?
No,
your silence
because that was the first piece of coordination we've seen from the team all game. How was I supposed to expect that? This is the character that needs help, and she's had no help. Of course I don't change my opinion. She falls down again, and the rest of them are going to eat it as well. Box Shiesty and Tide Point is alive. Scratch the Tide Point moment. One player is good enough to hold. And WVU Tech, off of the back of the hexa kill, tries to stick their heels in the mud, but Southern Maine standing up tall. They take down this Vanguard, and they take them all down. And down goes the Vanguard, and they take them all down.
I legitimately don't think I've ever seen a hexa come out from Scarlet ult. That's incredible.
I mean, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. All jokes aside, I've got nothing bad to say about that. You know, that's what you want. That is the play. That is when you draw it up. You know, that is your alley-oop off of the backboard. That is your triple play. That is your kickoff receive touchdown. That is whatever's cool in soccer. You know, like that is it. You got the six player Agamotto into the 6-player Scarlet Witch. You did it. Not a reliable strategy. Not and my biggest thing here, which, you know what, these are the moments where I'm happy to be proven wrong. My biggest sort of bone to pick with this WVUT team is the lack of coordination. Not once, not twice, not thrice, 4 separate times we saw double Vanguard and double support ults. So the lack of communication was lack of communicationing. How was I supposed to know they were going to land the 6 for 6? How was I supposed to know? So you know what? I brought to the table the relevant analysis based off what they were doing previously. and then I was wrong. You know what that means?
What's up?
Sports happened.
Okay. It was a lottery-winning play that came out from WVU. Unfortunately, they still only got 1 point in their possession. They nearly brought it to a second in overtime. Work still needs to be done from University of Southern Maine and WVU. It's not over just yet. Ninja Remover's now on the Squirrel Girl, but the counter to the Hexa that we saw from the Scarlet Witch was the Daredevil brought out. This could be hard countered by the Squirrel Girl. We already saw one Elim.
Definitely something worth noting. Squirrel Girl and the Bucky do a good job against any dive, Daredevil included. The biggest variable, obviously, is the almost 3 minutes worth that was at the top, and already down to sub 2. So University of Southern Maine had a fantastic regulation time, but now that we're in overtime, having a little bit of trouble breaking it out of the first gate. So great job by WVU Tech to kind of keep things put. Fox Shiesty, the only frontliner, and Ty.5, excuse me, seems to be working out.
I imagine as Casey Brown's going to swap back to the Winter Soldier, right? It just found so much impact.
I would venture a guess, yeah. Going the dive into the Atom can be particularly tough. Has both the SLT or the Spirit Link and the Chain Heal, so very difficult to dive into.
Oh, hold on
it's gonna
now.
be the
Thank you,
Gambino.
Observer. Okay.
And then it gets
Well,
pulled and
bingo.
pushed.
Was almost his name. Oh, Plum has been so good about these pulls coming through. However, that was a big distraction factor. A lack of heals and, frankly, the coordination coming out from the final judgment directly on top of that worked out pretty well, all things considered. And I think you're right, F-Dot. The fact that University of Southern Maine has had consistent coordination on a macro level has been the biggest winning factor from them over WVU.
Huge. I mean, that play doesn't work. Like, you know, we have the view of the diver. Oh, that made me feel so good. We have the view of the diver, and it doesn't look great, but then you nailed it. Distraction. Like, taking space. We all understand what it means from a Vanguard perspective, but taking eyes is important as well.
Okay. Invisible boundary. Can you find the boundary wielder with the meteor down? You most certainly do. That's Benny gone. Spider-Man's revenge. A litany of ultimates all at once. Agamotto into the Kraken impact and a royal flush directly on top. But let's see where the sewer lays. It's going to be Plum to find more. And once more, Casey Brown is getting his revenge for the back line. The Born again. Spectacular spin. No, not quite yet. And shut down everybody directly on top. And the Squirrel Girl's now longing for this world, but it's going to be everybody else to fall all the same. WVU looking pretty dang good here. Maybe one last chance for a portal, but it's simply too late. It's not going to be a 3-0.
Not at all.
3, 2,
WVU Tech able to stand up, and now we got a series. I'm excited. I'm excited because you know what the biggest point of excitement for me here is?
Lay it on me, man.
The Hexa wasn't even it, man. Like, I'm so happy because that was a gimmick. That happens once. University of Southern Maine goes, don't let that happen again. And they don't let that happen again. In fact, WVU, they didn't even bring the Scarlet to the party, understanding that would be the vibe, right? So I like the choice here I like the idea that WVU goes to the Scarlet, pulls off something cool, but that wasn't the deciding factor. The deciding factor was just strong defense where I didn't necessarily expect it. They leveled up in this last one. They made sure to play strong defense on that overtime push, and they just denied the freight train that has been Southern Maine. This is the first time we saw Southern Maine stuck in the mud all night.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was hoping to see more from Casey Brown when it came to the OT side. I think him sticking to the dive was cool for the eye test. It looked great for a second, but I think the impact on the Daredevil Spidey just came out far too late. Had it been maybe a minute earlier, it could have been a different story, but I really wanted to see that Winter Soldier.
They also ended the game with a Who swapped over to the Strange? Please tell me it was the support. There's no way that
Yeah,
they played
it was.
single support. Okay, good. Okay, never mind. All right, we're good. Yeah, I like the Daredevil. Didn't love the Spider-Man. And like, I'm in caster mode, not me mode. Like, I just don't. I
What's
didn't
the
enjoy the
difference?
Spider-Man. I didn't understand the wherewithal there. Who is he supposed to be deleting? He was looking after the Squirrel Girl. Not really a target I care about. So, yeesh. Spider-Man pick. I think there was a little bit lackluster. The gameplay was great during regulation. Once we got to overtime, we saw something completely different out of both these teams. So ultimately, for my money, I think Maine still playing the better rivals on the server. But when it comes down to it, you know, WVU Tech, they earned this one. This wasn't an oops. This wasn't an almost. And this wasn't a gimmick win. I think that the fun 6K that we got earlier was fun. And a 6K, but it wasn't the game decider. And so if it was, maybe I'd be a little bit more annoying about how they didn't necessarily earn it. They got a little lucky. Not here, boys. They got it done. They earned this one. They being WVU Tech. They earned it. So you know what? I'm not wearing a hat, but if I was, hats off to them. And I want more.
Can WVU bring it back? We'll have to go into the hat store really quick and see. We're going to go to a small break and take a trip to see how it goes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Figured it out, nothing could get through to me, but this kind of chemistry has me wondering when you're not around it. All goes black and white. How come I'm not seeing in color? Lost without you, I can't make it through the night. How come I'm not seeing in color? How come I'm not seeing in color?
You'll still have common days. Forget someone's name mid-conversation. Count your tips at the end of your shift. Buy something disappointing off the internet. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life. You'll still have common.
Hi! Well, all eyes are on WVU now to see whether or not they can bring it back to a 2-2 in this best of 5, or if that one game was their one win here for today. F. Dot, my friend, looks like you got a lot to say. What can we expect to see from them?
I honestly really don't have a lot to say. I think that what WVU put together in this last one was not a fluke, not luck. Like, they absolutely earned it, as I kind of ended the discussion last game around. But I think what we saw out of Southern Maine is more repeatable. Like, Plum's the target. Plum is the catalyst. What we're seeing on WVU Tech is Plum is the tastemaker. When Plum's able to pop off, whether it's on the Bucky or not, we're seeing a lot of work be done. Does that mean that I first ban the Buckworth if I'm on the side of Southern Maine? You know, it may be. So WVU banning out the Elsa. Don't change that for sure. The Loki ban is where I might have put down the Bucky, but we'll see. Protect the Punisher. We saw just how strong Killer is on this character, so thumbs up, dude. No hate.
Gonna see a Winter Soldier for the reserve? No, it's the Adam Warlock again. Second chance now for University of Southern Maine to ban out the Winter Soldier. By the way, it's Hell's Heaven.
Nice. And I would enjoy that. Hell's Heaven, I'll enjoy. But specifically talking about the Winter Soldier ban, I think this is the right call. I think the Atom did a lot of work for WVU, absolutely providing some of the offense and the defense needed. The reses were, I mean, honestly, that's just how Adam goes. Either the res is, oh my God, highlight reel play, gotta make it happen, or the res is, who cares? Wish we had anything else but that. So the Gambit ban will come out here and prevent WVU from playing that one. And the C&D Protect. So what I see here out of Southern Maine is they are looking for consistency. Just play all reliables, playing their own game. Somebody smart said that once. And confirming that they can just come out and plant the crops. So I think Southern Maine didn't expect to lose that last one, and they are going back to basics. And they're just going to left click to victory.
Okay, fair enough. University of Southern Maine won't be able to play the Angela anymore. The Moon Knight is allowed. That was a common ban from Southern Maine too. WVU can take advantage of that alongside the Atom. Could work out well here, but it seems like the goal now for Southern Maine is, again, prioritizing that strategic backline and denying any sort of third strat potential. The Loki's gone, no Gambit to work with, no Mantis either to have that extra oomph on the DPS front for the strats. You're only really allowed to use the core 3.
Specifically love the Mantis being banned out here. One, Mantis, when you've got 3 healers, you got Jordan on the C&D, and then you got Ty Point Phi on the Atom. Mantis slots in there perfectly, especially if you're protecting the Moon Knight. Mantis boosts the Moon Knight, Mantis boosts the Atom, and all of a sudden, you just have, well, a whole lot of nonsense. You got these half DPS characters, right? Like, so we got 22 seconds. So like Atom actually does more damage per basic attack than Phoenix. Atom does 70 damage per left click. That's a big deal. More than Hela, honestly. It's slower rate of fire. We can all dive into that. But if you boost that damage, he goes from being half DPS, half strat, to all DPS, half strat. And same thing with Moon Knight. Moon Knight's gimmick is that he does about 1/3 of the damage of everybody else, 30 damage per little batarang, but it booms around. If you Mantis boost that, all of a sudden he's a real DPS. So these are the things that University of Southern Maine saw being built out in the picks and bans phase and said, Nah, they ban out the Mantis, and that's a big brain ban.
Hey, that makes a lot of sense. You solidify, you strengthen the strategic backline. You ban out the Angela too, ensuring that University of Southern Maine are going to have a very struggleful time to ensure that they can't go for a dive or pick apart away any of those healers in the back. Starkiller's already gone. Ninja Remover is playing that backline still to protect those strats and get impact all the same. Things are looking pretty good for WVU early on.
They definitely have the point earliest, which I think is a very important point here. Like, this might be surface level analysis, but this point is one of the more difficult ones to retake. So I think it's very important to get on this point first and foremost. The Moon Knight ult comes out early because Brown has been farming it in this hallway. WVU2 backs up, but now they're going to back into the opponent as Ninja Remover takes out 2, and Benny even gets credit for 1 as well.
Kraken Impact didn't find a lot of impact, though. Ninja Remover finding a lot of that instead. You could even argue maybe stole the majority of the KOs off of Plum. But we've gone full circle, man. Starkiller is now on the Storm when Plum was reserving it for themselves all the way back in Game 1.
Plum is, I mean,
Your team's capture
the
points
focus.
have passed the
Plum is the taste maker, like I said here. The Bucky is coming through, and you got another game to play with if you're Southern Maine, right? You got 2 in the pocket, and the opponent has 1. If this game goes the way of Tech, I'm banning the Bucky.
Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't see the impact of maybe a Bucky ban going into this game, but you know what? That's okay, though. KC Brown finding some more. Plum is gone, but that was after a trade and staggering both of these teams. The Omega Hurricane could be coming out soon. Might be waiting for this invisible boundary to drop from Benny's side. There is going to be that Agamotto set up and ready to go, but in terms of the ult follow-throughs, there's not going to be anything to complement it.
Not at all. Not enough.
Until the Hand of Khonshu comes out.
J portal, J portal, J portal.
Okay,
This
Hand
has
of
to be a
Khonshu
portal
is
play.
out. Omega Hurricane. Oh, thank you, Observer. Perfect timing. Agamotto's directly on top. Is that a distraction factor? The back line again from WVU needs to stay afloat, but the ship is sinking. 99% WVU. There was an attempt to bring it home, but Southern Maine, they thought that was their ace in the hole. It was not. And now P1 going very much in WVU's favor.
Oof, hate to... It's my job. Got to put the microscope on the Storm player there. She gets 2 takedowns with the Omega Hurricane, doesn't follow the third, which would have been a duelist, and then has her eyes set on the Strongo, on the Doctor Strange. Strange has his back to her. Strange has about 15% HP. That is a takedown. That is an elimination. 2 basics and a right click, which she did have available because she just came out of the ultimate, takes down the Doctor Strange, opens up the point for the rest of the team to filter in, and then we dance another dance. Instead, frazzle-minded, looks at the Strange, looks at the Bucky, doesn't know who to target, and ultimately winds up targeting neither as a result. When you're in those moments, when it's clutch or kick, you need to make the choice. Any choice is better than no choice. A lot of times duelist players look at themselves attacking a Vanguard and they're like, hey, that's not what I should be doing. I need to be looking for a strategist first, duelist second, Vanguard third. That's all well and good when you're looking at the chart. But when you're in the game, look for the most, just get the takedown. And we did not get the takedown, so now University of Southern Maine is down an entire round as we go into the second part.
Do you think this is overthinking from the duelist front from Southern Maine? Starkiller and KC Brown were finding so much impact in the first 2 games. Hela, Phoenix, Moon Knight, Bucky, the Punisher too. They found so much impact on all of them, but we haven't seen a lot of those picks in the last game and a half. KC Brown's on Scarlet Witch, which can be fantastic for Eldritch Monument, don't get me wrong, but you had like your invincible duelist line so early on for Intergalactic, but we're not seeing that now.
Not my favorite. The Scarlet's not my favorite. I will admit. You do have the team up available, so maybe that changes things around here. Starkiller, I have no beef for. I honestly think that last round was more map based than anything else.
Okay. Oh, Meteor M is out, but enough follow-through is out. Fox Shiesty's there, but it seems like, again, double ult stack up. Very unusual from Southern main side. It was the Meteor and the takedown the Eternal Bond. I suppose Casey Brown was there as a contingency plan, but yeah, I'm really not too sure about this Scarlet Witch. Even if it is in their favor right now.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, us as commentators for the booth, we got to pump our brakes. One of the biggest things that I talk about when it comes to Marvel Rivals in specific, the hero shooter genre in general, is that individual prowess will throw the tier list away. You can just click to victory, and that's what we saw last time around. We'll see if they can do it again here.
Kraken Impact is out and underway. Plum hasn't been able to find a lot of impact with it so far in this matchup. Jay shuts it down. In fact, the entirety of WVU is shut down outside of the Karmic Revival wielder himself. Even Ninja is gone. High Point, I thought for sure it would bring it out, but I guess he was not in a position to do so.
Ooh, playing 2 positions up. No,
Oh,
okay,
no.
I'm just going to go for some disruption.
Okay, that's Portal gone. No
Yep.
chance of that.
Great job. And that might confirm the round, actually.
It should. And normally you want to bring out Portal at around 85, maybe 80% for a team like WVU, but an interrupt like that is a nail in the coffin. Eldritch Monument going in Southern Main's favor. All that's left now is Frozen Airfield.
Super Soldier Factory, extremely difficult to retake. Eldritch Monument, a little bit more open, but still generally difficult to retake. Quick, look at the numbers here. Casey Brown, 5 last hits. A Star Killer, 4. Honestly expected. Punisher has been the star of the show, but honestly, Punisher is more of supplemental damage. The fact that Casey Brown has 14k versus Star Killer's 9, that's a little surprising, but I guess that has more to say about the Storm play from earlier on that we saw. Plum putting down the Bucky and going to Storm herself to boost the Ninja Removers. Moon Knight is definitely a good look. That is one of the classic pairings that I'm just never going to get tired of seeing. Remember all that analysis I did when I was yapping about the Mantis being friends with the Moon Knight? Well, Storm can do the same thing, so I'm here for it all the way. This map is somewhere in between our last 2 as far as trying to take the retake. I think at the end of the day, all 3 of these Hell's Heavens maps are very important to get on the point first and foremost and force your opponent into the retake position. But here, there are at least a number of different entryways.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Even Antarctica's not as snowball heavy as this map. It's gonna be definitely one where you have to get on first, and even though the Agamotto was out, it's a big Steiger fest for WVU side. The Adam Warlock does go for the self-res. No Karmic Revival still. And I gotta say, WVU, they may have lost some momentum. Even though they have Plum and Ninja Remover, well, maybe not so much Ninja Remover for the next few seconds, they still have double hit scan to go up against.
That said, this is still a very... An Omega Hurricane can open the door very easily. Storm has a number of different spaces to kind of peek in and out from. You don't just have to stand there in the middle of the air and just get pot-shotted by the opponent. So as Casey Brown is going to be a big threat to the Flyer, and that will cause Plum to swap over to the Squirrel Girl for this hallway push, which you're looking for the AoE damage. She can certainly bring it, and the squirrels. Here they are.
Oh, I love me some squirrely girly. Benny does have invisible boundaries set up and ready to go, but I know Casey Brown is eager for the moment to have that happen, or even the Eternal Bond to shut everything down. But Unknown's not too far off either. They double stacked their ultimates before, and sure, they both found impact, but it wasn't enough to shut down the enemy team's ults. Burrow Tsunami is out, directly onto the point. So far, WVU have not gone on whatsoever. Not a single point on the board. The hand of Conchu is out directly on top. Candace and Casey Brown are gone. And there it is. Meteor M, does it find much? Yes, it does. Plum is gone and Eternal Bond is ready to go. That could have shut everything down. Casey Brown is... No. Bach is still alive. He's so staggered. He won't be able to portal.
Not at all. No, that was an incredible play coming out from our Cloak and Dagger player. To be completely honest with you, this was all just a Cloak and Dagger on the side of University of Southern Maine, making sure to take down 2 separate players in that exchange. WVU Tech did what I was talking about. They came onto the point via an alternate angle, and that was what was going to earn them in the point. Instead, Aki Kojiro made it happen. Great play from the support, and guess what? We doing it again. Support shows up again, taking down enough players to make it happen. Ha ha! Star Killer, shot to the face. And that's number 3.
There we go. 2 for Southern Maine at the very end. They got their act together. And again, Division 7, we're in playoffs now. That's a 2, excuse me, what am I saying? That's a 3-1 against WVU. Aura.
Gotta let the MVP go. I mean, like, it's just the trial of Magneto. So dope. So swag. So ShamWow. Just a very cool moment seeing the Magneto come through and earn it. And that was a big deal because Unknown Bow, a number of times, it's very easy to get into Magneto land and just hold the meatball for the enemy support ult. And we saw a couple of Meteor M's go in the face of Jordan, but repeatedly, all over the place, making great use of the speed boost that we saw on that ultimate given recently. And WVU Tech, the biggest thing that I want to say here is that, like, listen, they did not go quietly into the night. I look at their performance this season, a lot of 3-0s, a couple of 3-2s, but coming into this one, I think that University of Southern Maine was the anticipated top card. I didn't expect them to win the first 2 as candidly as they did. I expected more of the match to look like the second half. And I say the second half because even in that loss keg, I think WVU, I think the Tech team came out and made the last map competitive. We went all the way to 3. They destroyed the first round completely, and they earned the victory in game number 3 in total. So 1 and 2 were a little bit of a stomp. 3 was completely in WVU's favor. And then the 4th game, well, it was competitive. So
yeah,
I like that I got my money's worth. I saw some good rivals, and ultimately Southern Maine comes out on top. Earned.
What if I told you we're not done with rivals just yet? Even though this was a banger matchup, we got 4 out of 5 of our games. What if I told you we're only halfway done tonight? We still have a whole other series to go, man.
Yeah, definitely very excited. Not only that, but we're going to be moving up in our divisions. We've got Division 2 coming up where we get to see UBC Thunder versus Cumberland University, 2 squads that also have a storied career during the regular season to make it here to our playoffs. So definitely a lot of fun in the back, but we got fun up front as well.
Ooh.
Call it the mullet, baby.
Oh, yeah, my favorite kind of time. Do you think we see all 5 games?
Who knows?
Oh, that's a boring answer. I think we see all 5 games, and I'm going to prove you right after this break. We got to get the team set up, man. We'll be right back.
Forge Trials is presented by the Army National Guard.
Go on myself. I'm cold steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools. Serpents daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. Gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Kinda cold-blooded, selfish. Your words are painless. I like when I drive and it feels so dangerous. They say I'm a red flag 'cause they want it so bad. You should know I'm holding on to what I have. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. You have habits just like me. Talk too much with strangers. Get way too serious around family. And I don't have any wishes, but when I kiss you, our lips fit well. And I don't have expectations, but when I daydream, I fall asleep. And our hands melt. It started out as teasing, but I had deeper meaning.
Forget someone's name mid-conversation. Count your tips at the end of your shift. Buy something disappointing off the internet. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Oh, hello. I was talking about how dry my mouth was, and
I'm actively drinking water, like
me.
right now. I'm just
Wow,
actively
I
drinking
know.
water.
Oh no. Finish the glass. Finish the glass. Dial
Dog,
on
I'm not
me.
doing that.
I think you should.
No. Usually,
know
you're so this is like a core. I'm like breaking a cardinal rule here. I'm as a co-commentator. I'm supposed to yes and, but also, I'm not going to be able to get up to get more water. So I need my water for the game. The bit must end. I do apologize.
I don't. I will continue the bit. I will Uno reverse, and I will drink mine.
All right, so we've got two teams coming up at you. Division 2, we've got UBC Thunder and Cumberland University repping that world of Rhode Island. So Six Balls, Ranch, Anakin Sims, Exel, Zinnel, and Aspect will be repping the red team. And then Medium Fries, MSJZ, Jennison, Internet User 68, love that, Paglaccio, and Ake Chiguro will be playing for UBC Thunder.
Akechi was in our last series.
Yes, they were.
Okay. You know what?
What?
You know what, Akechi? Oh, Never Okay Productions telling us that it didn't update. I was going to say Akechi, you know what? Maybe this is when he's Black Mask. He was on one team. He's Crow. He's on the other team. That would have been so Persona pilled. Not quite the case. We got VTOM instead. Not a Persona user.
But a Honda user.
A Honda? Is that what it is? I've never driven a Honda.
This is a deep cut for all the four racer kids out there. VTEC is Honda specific technology that makes their the turbo kicks in after a certain RPM. I assume that. Anyway, should be a fun Division 2 matchup.
I want to know more about cars.
That's it, really.
That's
I'm just saying his name is, maybe his name is Tom, VTEC. I don't know, but should be a fun one. Division 2, so a very different world as far as competitive. Just going to keep going. As far as competitive control is concerned, Division 2 might be a little bit different than Division 7. I expect to see the Elsa bands. I expect to see more closer to the meta. Yeah, better said. Traditional. Better said. Yeah. That's why they give you the big bucks. Hell yeah. Here for it.
The traditional bands coming through. Here I am just trying to derail everything with water drinking and Honda and VTubers, but you know, all I have to say is the traditional word and we're good to go. Hopefully we'll be in the game number 1 fairly soon. Do not know what we're playing just yet in terms of maps, but I'm very curious to see where we end up going. You know, to play off your original point, I do think we'll see more Elsa bans. I think it'll be a lot more strategist bans, especially now that we see a big decrease in the amount of percentage that ultimates go up. I imagine now you are just looking to derail the backline as much as you can.
That's certainly the vibe in ranked right now. In competitive, again, you mentioned it earlier at the top of the show, how a lot of our bans tend to be focused specifically on individual players. And at this point, so multiple things happen once we climb the ladder of competition, right? Like, obviously we expect more shots on point, right? Like, so hit scan characters wind up being more valuable, and AoE characters like Scarlet Witch wind up being less valuable. Characters that require coordination, whether it's dive or otherwise, wind up being more viable, and characters that require that have a lot of counters, like the Dr. Strongo, less viable, because you see him coming and you don't get 6-man stunned, because why would you ever get 6-man stunned? So that happens. But also, as we climb the ranks, we also see homework done a little bit more, right? Like, you're Division 2 now. You're playing much more intentionally, which means I'm expecting a little bit more knowledge in Game 1 about what each other are playing. We saw the Loki bands and the Punisher bands earlier on but that was after sort of Game 1. I expect to see the Respect bands come out immediately for these teams and the gameplay to reflect that appropriately.
All right, let's see opening bands coming through. Cumberland University's first. Oh, now you drink the water. I saw that. Gambit first. I'll have to drink my water in a little bit too. Gambit first. Probably Elsa. Wouldn't be too surprised. Could be Gambit too.
An Elsa ban into an Elsa Protect would be very
diabolical.
Good. Wouldn't be too upset about it. UBC Thunder giving it a strong think, and it will be the Elsa ban, and they do have the Protect up next as well.
Interesting. Phoenix is out. Means Elsa's still available.
Oh, my bad. That is a Phoenix.
Yeah, they're both redheads. But
Gingers.
Cumberland. Wow.
And there's the Rogue.
Rogue.
Okay. Rogue Protect
Continuing
here.
the streak, it's gonna be Rogue protected, the Namor protect. Okay, Hellfire Gala, it makes sense to go for these. You're gonna have a lot of anti-dive potential, especially with the Rogue being protected out. I think that's a good potential counter, but we saw this in our last series with Division 7, that just because you have a Namor does not necessarily mean your dive is completely shut down.
Sure. We also didn't see a large commitment to said dive, so
That's true. It was just the Winter Soldier.
I will take what you said is very true, right? Anytime we're playing this sort of counter game, listen, just because you got a Charizard doesn't mean I can't beat you with my Venusaur. It all comes down to execution. So just because you have this anti-dive doesn't mean I can't dive you. I can play around it, I can play above it, I can play behind it, I can attack it directly with other long-range sources of damage, etc., etc., etc. So really, though, it just screams intelligence coming out from the team, Phoenix, Cumberland University. Like you said, I see the Rogue, I see that you might be able to dive me, pick up the anti-dive. Punisher also works, as anti-dive is a big phrase, but that shotgun earns
He's very
evens.
versatile.
Yeah, well said. And the Magic Protect is very curious. So clearly, Cumberland University knows what UBC Thunder would like to play. They would like to play that Rogue Magic pseudo brawl, more so dive, W key at you type vibe. And for what it's worth, Magic is one of the dive characters. Rogue is one of the dive characters that do get punished a lot by the Namor, because they're not burst in, burst out like a BP or a Spider-Man. They are, as I alluded to earlier, more brawl, extended vacation type characters.
So I'm really curious to know your thoughts on our last ban from Cumberland's side. Haven't seen that character before.
Yeah, oops. A lot of times you'll see the Protect not used, and that's kind of like big brain, hey, we're not going to show you our cards. I don't know. The not using a ban is curious to me, because you're not really protecting any secrets. To me, this is just a mistake. I don't think there's a strategic way to skip a ban. We can talk about the strategic way of skipping the Protect. I still don't love it, but I'm not going to come at the coach's throat for it. Missing a ban, that feels like a misstep. Maybe they just weren't around or something, but not my favorite play of the evening.
Yeah, it can be pretty lethal, especially with MRC bans, where it's not universal for both teams. There's really no reason not to. It's definitely a mistake, but Cumberland University looking to double down on what could have been their own dive potential there with the Daredevil and Black Panther. Will be sticking to no dive at all. We're going instead to the Namor and Punisher, which were the reserves. Overall, I want to see what UBC Thunder has cooked up with their line of things. They do have the Rogue at their disposal for the Protect. They do have medium fries on the Magic, which was reserved. But the fact that we see double shields to begin with has to be that direct counter to the potential Namor Punisher.
Absolutely what UBC Thunder is reading. And no dive tank to help the Magic, but you do have the Mag Bubble to help the Magic, so we'll see how that works out for UBC Thunder. Right now, immediately going upstairs and finding this off angle for the Namor is a good look. Not able to find a kill, not able to find kind of the key moment here just yet, but I like the angle coming from Cumberland.
Yeah, I like this from Ranch, using the waterfall to his advantage, taking an off angle as well. There is the heal botting potential, I believe, from Bot Aspect to help on out. But even then, though, it's not going to last much longer. Medium Fries is directly in the heart of the battlefield, taking everybody down. And although they tried to take that off angle, it's not going to quite work out. Damage may have already been done. UBC Thunder have gotten point first.
Fantastic job here, yeah. Even if the Magic falls down, that's part and parcel to kind of the strat, right? All in, fall in, take down 3, trade out 1. You're good, dude. That maths out. So the point owned here by UBC Thunder, and as long as you're able to make use of this upper stairs area with the waterfall, I think it's not as difficult as Hell's Heaven to kind of get onto. But you have to use this upper angle. If you just walk through main, you're going to lose over and over again. So I like Cumberland University's approach, but I'm not sure if it's really going to work because we're almost halfway through already.
I mean, medium fries are just keeping everybody in check. The assassination potential off of Magic has worked wonders. Double invisible boundary, a Venn diagram of destruction is out. But through it all, there is going to be the Agamotto that descends down from up above. The 6 alls is good as well to maybe find some potential off of the strangling imprisonment. The bot aspect with the eternal bond is going to help out too, to be all over the site itself. This is going to be an ult fest now. Everyone's staggering them. Finally now, Group brings out his imprisonment, and Cumberland University descends down and takes down everybody else. With 63% F-dot, UBC have already put in work.
Very important for Cumberland to go ahead and get this. This was not their last shot, but their last shot to have a game where they're not completely backs against the wall, right? If they lose that push, then all of a sudden they're fighting up against like a 75 ticking upwards. The fight's going on, it's 90 ticking upwards, and if they lose it, they kind of lose the whole thing. Now, they've got the point down. They're looking up at 63% for sure, but they're about a third of the way done already. So very, very, very important for Cumberland to make that point when they did. Shout out to the Gauls, who was able to make that happen by way of the prison.
Very curious to see what Zinzi's going to do in terms of the Monstro's impact, maybe to help out take down Medium Fries. Seems like it's a very good start. Medium Fries is on a stagger now, but unfortunately the BDRM does not find the snipe potential it was desperately needed. 51% now, not too far behind from what UBC Thunder was able to achieve. Just a matter of seeing if the Punisher can do the TikTok clips right now. Back end for the shotgun directly into the face of Medium Fries. And there we go. Burnt once again. This is looking now as an even game. Cumberland University have taken the lead back. No, they haven't. UBC have taken it back.
Yep, just walked off the point a little bit. Good pressure coming out from the Magneto player here, as one hit should turn into 2. And it will. The double un for MSJZ. Hove!
Might have to start toying with the idea that maybe Cumberland University has the portal sooner rather than later. 85%. The now or never moment. No?
Gonna walk onto the point here. No, they're just gonna walk on.
Taking your sweet
Come for the
time.
top side.
Final
left side.
Final Judgment's out. That's gonna be the Meteor M directly on top. Does not get shut down by the Final Judgment. He whips it out way too quick. Jenny-Sun does have the opportunity to bring out Invisible Boundary, most certainly does. Anakin Sims could be able to manage to bring that out too, to cancel it, but instead it is a massacre. Both sides against another. Only a Medium Prize has fallen, but he has done his job as a pseudo Vanguard. Since Penglaclio taking everybody down. Cumberland University, they had an attempt, but they were too slow for the draw.
You know, that's unfortunate because I really enjoyed the Magneto play from Excel across the way. We saw the final execution come out here from the Punisher. Obviously, that's going to be the meatball target, and Excel just walked up and went, nope, put the shield in the face, absorbed the Meteor M. Love to see it. Ranchert still doesn't convert off of it. 3 finals for the Punisher player who did get an ultimate there, so not a great look. Zinzel also on the Namor, the 4 finals there. Just not enough, honestly. Medium Fries has been going to town, and what's interesting here is that the slash lines for the duelists are relatively similar. It really just looks to be a little bit of the healing. You can see just about 1,000, maybe 1,500 above UBC Thunder's healers, 4 versus Cumberland's healers, and ultimately we just saw a couple of players fall down on Cumberland that shouldn't. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the strategists themselves are slacking. Maybe it's Ranchert and Zinzel out of LOS. Maybe it's our Magneto player just out of LOS, not being able to find those healers. A lot can come into it. Not blaming the strats, but at the end of the day, the healing, the out-healing, is a big part of why UBC Thunder won that first round.
I want to see Cumberland University playing directly on point a lot more in P2. Horn of Proteus is out. That's going to help a lot, even if it's not necessarily a direct KO. It's still stalling potential that's desperately needed from Cumberland's side. They just were not playing on point in the first round. Now that they're able to find a little bit more of their footwork, UBC directly on point themselves. There was the attempt from Cumberland's side. Meltdown directly from the two duelists worked out. And Medium Fries is there to make that stagger happen again. Ranchard swapped away from the Punisher into the Winter Soldier. I think that can help out well with the Kraken impact to create space. But Cumberland University, man, I just want to see them play aggressively.
I would like to see that as well, because the Magic player is making them S-key. And easier said than done. Just walk past her, but that's kind of the vibe here. Like, she's beating up the tanks, going hard, and she's got Jennison right behind her, consistently pushing in those heals. So the Namor and the Punisher should be shutting down the Magic, but they're not. So just walk past and take the fight onto the point.
All right, this should be the time to turn it around. Bond Aspect has Eternal Bond set up and ready. Pangaglio brings out Agamotto instead. That's going to ruin the aspects of an Eternal Bond, at least momentarily. But still, no red carpet to have that lead way in. Excel brings out the Psionic Seduction. What's, instead? That could be a great way to move things forward. Internet User does have a way to counter it out as well, but Medium Fries left unchecked. No information. Is in the back line, the front line, the medium lines, all the lines at once. Shuts down the entirety of this attack. Bot Aspect is forced to bring out, Invisible Boundary directly on top. It won't last as long as Cloak and Dagger's ultimate, but the beautiful thing is that Internet User can wait it out. Meatball directly on top. The Meteor M could crash down above. It's overwhelmed by everyone else's projectiles. And through it all, it's the doppelganger. No snipe. Just like looking into a mirror, neither one could take each other down. Rancher's there for the final snipe, and Paglio, Tom are there to make sure that they can get it through. Horn of Proteus finds some impact, but the only survivor is the one that brings out the ult. It's Anakin healing no one.
That's a misplay. Unfortunate misplay. Anakin Sims just throws away the pillar. And so with the shields down, smacked up comes the Magic player. Punished the group up before. The portal comes in. That's going to lead to another group up, which y'all saw this one. Another punish from those Medium Fries. That's a supersize order, if you ask me. UBC Thunder, round 1 and 2. That's game 1.
Okay, I can only see two avenues going forwards, right? Either we see the insta-ban on the Magic from Cumberland, or you have to play fully anti-die. I'm talking the Namor, the Penny. You have to circle your entire strat around this one player.
That's the fun part about moments like this. Magic is not a character you want to ban. There are so many must bans in this meta.
I agree.
You've got the Gambino, you've got the Elsa, which didn't even get banned out. Punisher is on the table. Loki's on the table to prevent the Gambit Loki nonsense. Like, there are so many must bans. And like I said, we didn't even ban all of the must bans. So when you force somebody to ban these nonsense characters, you're doing well. What are you giggling about?
You talk about how there's a lot of people you don't want to ban out, but Cumberland didn't even use all of their bans.
Yeah. That was, listen, it happens. It happens. I'm going to say that was an oops. Maybe somebody was AFK. Maybe it was an admin situation. I don't know, because if they did that to Aura Farm, I don't know how you recover off of that.
There's no way, man.
So I just have to say it was an oops. I have to sit here and say it was an oops. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my hair. And I don't want to do that because I like my hair.
You have a lot of hair.
I do. A lot is good because it's not good right now, but it is a lot. So I'll take it.
I think your hair looks great. I mean, first step is to ban out every ban you have. I don't really know like what kind of course you could go forwards from there, right? But
well, so the good thing is that they didn't get beat due to their lack of ban. Like, they're not going to ban the Magic off Rip, right? So
well, no, I mean you can't.
Like if they got beat by an Elsa or something that's extremely meta, I would be losing it right now. You know,
yeah,
I like to I like to get aggressive.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like to make fun of players. But
Oh, I
this
know.
was not a moment where I get to do that. They got beat by Medium Fries, who's 8 feet tall in my book. That was a phenomenal performance. The Magneto was the only dive support that she had. But realistically, while we have a moment, fantastic team geometry. What happened here was that the Thunder forced their opposition into magic hallways every time. We saw the psionic seduction coming out from the Emma. Everybody in one corridor. Doesn't matter what Emma does there. After the fact, when the opponent thinks that they have their opposition because they burn everything to deal with the Emma scream, vroom, in comes Magic like what's his name in a Goofy movie, spins around on everybody and takes care of business. Doesn't even matter that only one limb comes down, right? She takes care of the Invisible Woman. Done, son. That's all you need. Like, you don't need to get that hexa kill. You need to take down one single strategist, and that elim is all you need to open the door to watch all the other Legos fall down. That's exactly what we got out of Medium Fries.
Okay, so can we say for an uncommon trait to ban the magic? I feel like that's fair, right?
Uncommon? Yeah, absolutely.
Can we pull up the screen while we're waiting for game 2 and kind of just hash this out live? Because we gotta see the magic ban. I think I'm thinking about how to word this because I know we're both right on this. It's you don't want to play off-site, but you also don't want to play main. That's something you mentioned back on Carousel, is that you don't want to play directly head-on into the objective on a map like that. It is a KO sentence. But also we saw the fact that Cumberland wouldn't play very aggressively at all. They certainly did in the second on Grove. They did a lot more. But by then, Medium Fries was already a well-oiled machine in the deep fryer.
I got my 3. I got my 3 uncommon
Lay it on
traits.
Lay it on me, man.
I absolutely got my 3 uncommon traits. Again, shout out to our friends over at the Army National Guard. These uncommon traits are brought to you by our friends.
We're being told we need them in text. We cannot speech the text, unfortunately, but that's okay. You know what? We could stall for time. You know, so far NECC has been wonderful. Wenzel's Farm. Make sure you go buy their meat sticks. They're wonderful. They keep me alive. My muscles are all meat stick. Eventually, I would like my body to be donated and processed to help out any which way I can for the Wenzel's Foundation. There we go, though. Clintar will be our next matchup. I'm very curious to see how this plays out with a Magic on board, if it is allowed through the map bans and hero bans in picks. I can only imagine that it probably won't be. It has to be the insta-ban first, but that does allow really big opportunities for UBC. You've put Cumberland Phoenix in a pretty interesting spot. All right. I'm being told, though, that we have our uncommon traits set up and ready to go. F. Dot, even though it's not, the graphic isn't ready yet, can you spoil number 1 for me?
Yeah. Ban Magic. It's
Of course. Okay.
And you know what? A little bit for the bit.
I love bits.
Do I actually think you have to ban the Magic? I'm not sure, but we didn't see any real commitment to dealing with her. So, number 1 is Magic ban. Ban the Magic. Number 2 is use the bans. You straight up didn't use your bans. I'm gonna lose it. And number 3 is hit the gas. Just press W, dude. Like, and I'm oversimplifying for the bit, but there's also a nugget of truth here. If you take your entire team and move forward, Magic has less of an issue doing that. How do you do that, Dot? Play Brawl. Because that's also what's happening here. Magic and Rogue are brawling. She didn't even have Rogue. She had the Magneto. Rogue was to protect, and we didn't even see it. So she gets a Magneto bubble. Mag is also up close and personal, just pushing people around while Magic is doing the Cupid shuffle in your backline. How do you fix that? Bring the backline closer to your front line, have a whole bunch of brawlers. Is that in your God pool? Do you have the heroes available? Is the question.
Well, Magic was not banned. Verdict's still out for the next uncommon trait. Should be a Magic reserve here. I'd be shocked if it's not.
So when you, I started talking about this a little bit. When you have a Strange specialist, not a Doctor Strange specialist, but an oddball character specialist, right? That is to your benefit, and you almost always, you almost never want to use a protect on that oddball character, because if you're that good at Magic, think about how good you are at a character that's actually strong. Now, Magic is a little bit easier than Daredevil. They have a completely different skill set as far as piloting the character is concerned, I understand. And Magic isn't exactly easy, but Daredevil is certainly more difficult. I guess it depends on who you ask. But it's really difficult to just, like, not be good at the meta heroes if you're doing that with the off meta. So force the opponent to ban the dumb stuff, and then we play the good stuff, and then you're stuck in the impossible decision. So I hope that the bench or the hero pool is deep enough that they don't need to protect the Magic. And if they ban the Magic, they just show up with whatever is meta and they're feeling good about. So I'm not mad that they didn't protect the Magic. In fact, as the analyst, I kind of like this moment because now I want to see what else you got.
Okay, no, I can agree with that. And I assume we're going to see another maybe dive duelist as well. Could be the Black Panther, maybe, if you want to play something very wonky. I assume maybe more in line with, okay, the Spider-Man reserve could very well see that. I was going to say Daredevil. I'm okay with that too. We're going to need an AED for F. Dot over here. I think he's in cardiac arrest.
I hate Spider-Man. I hate Spider-Man. But in competitive play, he's a completely different beast. Because all of my beef for Spider-Man, which, you know, if you know me, I got a lot of beef with Spider-Man.
He's saying this with his teeth, like...
But no, jokes aside, Spider-Man is a ranked demon in both good ways and bad ways. This is not the platform for that. This character requires coordination. We're up here in Division 2. These teams are clearly talking to each other. As long as Spider-Man and the team are in comms, I'm fine for him creating the 5v6, because then he can go ahead and affect the other side. Is this our Magic player? Is Medium Fries going to be swinging around? We'll see. Ultimately, for Cumberland, it's the same thing versus if they were dealing with the Magic. Group up. Group up. Because Magic is a brawler, so she wants to group up, but your grouping up will punish it a little bit. You'll be able to just bring her down to earth. Whereas if you group up versus the Spider-Man, now you're really kind of hurting what he's doing. The Loki, the Rocket, the Atom, the Psylocke, all four of these characters deal with Spider-Man, or at least get away from Spider-Man.
Different aspects of him.
And that's the bigger thing, is that Spider-Man doesn't have a great target on this team. Rocket's going to run. Atom's going to...
But I'm always looking for more. Glad to add you to the list.
Soul Bond. I always... Okay, we got a second here. I always... So Adam Warlock is just a resto shaman from World of Warcraft. He's got Spirit Link Totem and Chain Heal, and I always say Spirit Link instead of Soul Bond. So if I do that, my bad. Y'all know I'm talking about Adam. But in any event, 4 characters that Spider-Man has no business looking at. So Cumberland did a good job of reading the P's and B's and picking against that Medium Fries choice.
Hey, they gotta eat their peas and carrots here too. Look, everything is stacked up against this Spidey now. You're playing full defense, anti-Spider-Man convergence though. I wouldn't normally say this is a Spider-Man map. The only time that I think Spider-Man can find viability is before you capture this first point. That's the Psylocke gone. That's one of the counters or potential counters that could have been underway. One out by Medium Fries, but once you capture this convergence point, I don't know how much impact Medium Fries is going to find. There's too many hiding spots for a Spidey.
Which is totally fine. I mean, this is you when you play Convergence, you're playing 2 different games. You're playing King of the Hill, and then you're playing Payload. I love Penny on this point, and then once you lose this point, I want you to switch. The Spider-Man might be the same vibe. for UBC Thunder. We'll check it out. But right now, Cumberland University dealing with this push pretty well as the double dive tank of Paglaccio and MSJZ on the Hulk and Cap, respectively. Not killing it right now.
No, I think MS is doing a pretty good job, all things considered. He's finding a lot of individual picks. We did see Medium Fries impact themselves. Totem goes down off of the regeneration. That's going to be Goddess of Death, isolating out the Groot. That's another one gone. Huge work from Medium Fries to remove out the Loki. A lot of big players just suddenly got removed, and UPC Thunder could be all set on this second tick to get the conversions.
Defense shows up, though.
This is real fire.
And Zinzel going to be able to take down the long-range Hella. The ultimate out of the Rocket Raccoon going to be chased away here. Spider-Man doesn't have a target to look for. Isolates one, gets the Psylocke, and all of a sudden the door's open for more.
Oh, perfect condensed corridor there. There is going to be the doppelgangers, though, preventing some impact off the spectacular spin, but damage was already done before the heals. Getting some more, that's going to be Medium Fries again. The melee's out of the wazoo. Each member of Cumberland University, despite the hardest hard counter you could potentially have against one specific player, not working out. Convergence goes to UBC Thunder.
Great job here so far. Medium Fries absolutely getting his due. The Hella is the character that doesn't really fit here, right? You've got triple dive plus long range Hella. So if anybody on Cumberland University wants to walk up and look at her, Zinzel, then you absolutely could. The thing is that VTOM's ultimate, VTOM being the Hell pilot, I mean, that's what opened up the map point on
that got us
the convergence initially. So if that's all you're going to do is find a couple of pot shots and then ult, you're good, dude. Opens up the world for your dive. So
I mean, part of it too is that you're just buttering up enemy players for Spider-Man. Let's get a single hit down and take him out, right? Like you're Captain America, all the same. You're there as that contingency plan to ensure that things go down well. Final judgment's out though. Of course, we see a litany of ultimates potentially to counter it out as well. Will that be enough? The answer could be yes. There is no cloak and dagger, so internet users going to be taking the Fate of Both Worlds instead, and immediately after we see another one brought on down. Will it find much? Yeah, UBC Thunder's already done quite a bit. Anakin Sims attempts to do the same. Rancher is going in hard to find Medium Fries, but unfortunately it's not quite working the way he had hoped. Instead, Medium Fries takes down the entire back line. MS is in the front, being the tip of the spear and piercing through the enemy team, and Jenny's son all the same. My God.
love how Jenny's playing all the way up with her dive tanks. Luna is a character that obviously has a ton of movement speed, but with a stun and a little bit of self-sustain, she's not a dive character. Listen, in no world am I going to sit here and tell you that Luna Snow is a dive character, but she's down to flex a little bit. And so you've got Paglaccio and MSJZ just hitting W this entire time, and Jenny is following them around, slotting in perfectly. Medium Fries does that. Takes 5 to go with the spectacular spin. And we're halfway through point 2.
Yeah, at this point, I hate to say it, we do see some swaps coming out from Cumberland's side. It's going to be Anakin Sims on the Jeff, Zins on the Daredevil. I feel like the damage is already done for this attacking side. I don't know what Cumberland could do on an individual level to bring this back, and let alone counter Medium Fries. Maybe this Daredevil can find much. The Devil's House could maybe be let out here. Maybe, but Medium Fries can escape out of this Daredevil so easily. Got it to Death and VTOM could be enough. Post Fate of Both Worlds, maybe to extend this further. More isolated players. That's going to be Ranch gone all the same. Anakin the same as well. That's everyone being eliminated inside their own spawn. I think that's all she wrote, man.
Beautiful sheepdog play. Oh my goodness. You know, this composition. This composition is just straight up fun to watch. You've got MSJZ and Paglaccio on these dive tanks, and they're just pressing W. They're not aiming for the truck. They are just going all in, not a care in the world, and Jenny's just in the back like, guys, come on, okay. And it's working out. And then every once in a while, VTOM just goes, enemy AC-130 spotted, and just lets it rain. So you've got Paglaccio and MSJZ pressing W, forcing everybody into the same area, and then VTOM just lets it rip. And elim after elim after elim after elim after elim. I'm not going to do it 10 times, but that's what VTOM has been doing. You mentioned a little bit of the softening the target up for medium fries, also helping out. They are communicating. All three of these players, Hulkinator, Captain America, and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, they're saying, shoot that guy, and then they're taking that player down. That's the type of communication that's required to play Spider-Man. That's the type of communication that you need to play Spider-Man. You don't always need the try, dive, here we go, but you need your team listening to you. You can't be comms off, Linkin Park up, W key swinging around. You need everybody to know who you're targeting, where, and why. And then help from above from VTOM, mwah, chef's kiss. I love the approach to this game from UBC Thunder.
But do you think Cumberland's response of going even deeper on the attack or dive will help counteract medium?
Yes, I actually do. So you're just taking away targets for medium fries. Also worth saying they're on offense this time. So Daredevil dive, Venom dive, Deadpool dive, Psylocke
Actually, everyone
dive,
here is diving.
Rocket dive, the Shark dive. Everybody's going to press W, so Spider-Man has to play more defensively, which isn't his favorite look. Yes, this is a way to shake. Who are you diving? We're in your house.
You can already see Medium Fry struggle. Even though he was finding impact, he distracted from the heals, he got eyes off the targets. It was still not enough to confirm any KOs. Not something we'd seen too often from Medium Fries to struggle with. And in the front, it's Cumberland. The entire team is in the enemy back line. This is wonderful. And a Sophie the Boom with a headshot on top. That is aura, man.
So this is, everybody and their mom is talking about how good the Vanguard pool is. And, all right, buddy, this is partially why. The Vanguard pool is so strong at just pressing W. Hulk and Cap are the old school dive tanks, all in, fall in, but I'm here for Guard Pool and Venom. I like this duo a little bit more. It's more disruptive.
Okay, Medium Fries off the Spider-Man, brings out Portal directly onto the point. One last attempt, Excel, double KOs in directly on top. It's gonna be 6 alls. Can you find, maybe Feast of the Abyss could find more impact, but damage again's already been done. UBC Thunder, they're barely on the point itself. That's gonna be a quick one for Cumberland University.
Fantastic response. Fantastic response. Now, UBC Thunder were able to beat them entirely for one map last time around. On this, though, Cumberland University have answered the call. A much better job of taking the point. We'll see how they do on the payload. Like I said earlier, it's a different game. We're in a different game mode now. But playing 6-man dive, full dive, to deny that Spider-Man the isolated targets and the dive capability is a beautiful adaptation for this Cumberland team.
This is my favorite kind of Marvel Rivals, man. All action. Anything could possibly happen at this point. The Captain America so out of the picture. Potentially a KO too. Maybe not quite the case from Anakin's side, but its death worked wonders there for displacement. Finally now we get to see ourselves Monster Hulk. The devil is out, baby. So many devils all over. Going crazy mode. Maybe the Daredevil will finally be let loose from Medium Fries. He's at 99%, but he's gonna have to wait for that next fight.
Great team up here from Zinzel and Aspect, showing up with the damage amplification boost out of the Rocket Raccoon, and the ultimate with the Daredevil. You've got this pulsing AoE damage that's annoying, and with a damage boost, it goes from annoying to devastating.
Oh, the devil's out, oh my friend. Colors everywhere.
See
the
you later.
whole rainbow you can see. But it's gonna be the Goddess of Death shutting down Medium Fries. They're taking the strat from UBC's attack and implementing it themselves. Rancher no longer the Punisher, now the Hela. Freedom Charge could very well be a possibility, and it most certainly is, my friend. It's everywhere you look. Doesn't matter what happens next. All these 1v1s should be going in MS's favor, and that's despite the taunt directly on top from the Vanpool not having any effect.
Both Vanguards fall down. Now, I like the Rancher change here. I think this is a good look. Ultimately, she can go up to the sky and avoid any nonsense, right? So by way of the Goddess of Death, that's a way to remove a target as well. Puglaccio moves over to the Mr. Fantastic, and I like this choice to deal with some of the dive. We'll see how it works big picture, because that is your third tank, essentially. Only playing Daredevil for damage is UBC Thunder. And it's enough. Puglaccio and the healer wind up combining for a two-man takedown, and Ranchert and Zinzil wind up responding, but the support are still alive for UBC Thunder, despite Ranchert going to town. Finally now getting pushed in is Hela, but the heals from Anakin Sims are strong enough for a stop.
But you gotta keep a very close eye on Anakin Sims. This could be the breakage of the dam, absolutely necessary to get past UBC's defensive here. We've seen the displacement for MS before. Anakin Sims needs to bring out It's Jeff, but maybe not. Cumberland University just massacred all of UBC Thunder.
Ouch. Giant chain chomp here coming out from the Thunder. Or excuse me, from Cumberland University. Honestly, not even a lot of, like, short. You used a Venom ultimate. Thumbs up, dude. But not a lot of resources used by Cumberland University. That's probably the biggest noisemaker signpost play that we've seen in both maps that really showed what's going on. Cumberland responded to UBC's approach big picture by going all in. UBC answered by making a couple of option swaps and brought out some more tanky lineup to deal with the burst damage, and Cumberland University was still able to find a way in.
Really goes to show how deep the strat pool can be from Cumberland University's side. It's Jeff is finally out, and it's gotta find impact. The job is not over just yet. Only one player found, but it's Medium Fries that was sucked away. That could have been enough. Jenny is swapped off the Luna Snow, brings out a Jeff of their own. The Rogue has been eaten, displaced, but the Rocket itself is also being chewed up and swallowed. That's going to be great. No heals for just a few moments. Shore and Zune, in the meantime, gets rid of a critical Vanguard. That's MS the Rogue gone, and Puglaccio all the same. Vitom is going to be the sore thumb. It's going to be the Magneto instead. Shields underway, helping for the protect. Medium Fries not going for a swap. He hid inside the spawn for just a second, only to heal. He's so close. It would be reset to 50 on the ult charge had he swapped. Instead, though, he's gonna let the devil loose. Go into the back line, target the Jeff, and find impact. But Jeff attempts to get away. There's so many targets. You chase two rabbits, you lose them both, and Medium Fries, the cholesterol, maybe clogging him up. He's not able to find much. Forced to duck away. The targeting is back out from XL again. He might have Medium Fries' number. But no,
Huge.
The Jeff eventually falls in the same. UBC Thunder, they still have a breath of life in them. 50 seconds left on the clock now. Heartbreaker set up and ready for MS. But there's a reset. A moment of calm.
Incredible moment here for Medium Fries. Two of the harder strategists to really chase down is that Rocket and is that Shark Boy that Jenny's on. And Jenny, she tried, but Medium Fries dunked. Very good job from this Daredevil. They were the catalyst earlier on tonight, looking to continue it and end the game here.
One last attempt. Heartbreaker is out, but let me tell you, it's anything but for me. It's Richard's gone. MS is good for one. No chance now of having Goddess of Death for just a few moments. And even then, in the blindness of it all, no one knows what's happening. But all you gotta do is look forwards. And suddenly, it's a snipe. Everyone's off the payload.
I don't want to hear C9, because that was a push off from UBC Thunder. They shoved Cumberland off of that. Cumberland, listen, that one's going to hurt. This This is what I tell this is what I tell teams is an etch-a-sketch game. This one hurts. Cumberland University did virtually everything right. Look at the heels. Heels, fantastically done. I don't care about the difference between 24 and 27. Look at the deals. 9 to 12, 6 to 18. I don't care about the difference there. Paglaccio played second fiddle to medium fries, and Ranchard and Zinzel shared their guitar lines. Cool, 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 cool. Everything coming up Millhouse for our Vanguards as well. I'm not mad at Cumberland University's gameplay here. This was fantastic. What do I ask? Don't get beat the same way you did in game one. And they absolutely didn't. They changed things up. They looked fantastic. And their opponent adjusted. And then they changed things up again. The problem is their opponent adjusted again. And we didn't see that tertiary adaptation, and that's ultimately what fell. So at the end of the day, they got displaced. They got literally pushed off the cart. Great performance by Cumberland. Unfortunately, this is the playoffs, and you got to get those W's. But I shake the Etch-a-Sketch. I come back with a quarterback mentality, and I just do the damn thing. This is totally winnable. I don't think this is a 3-0.
You're right, and you know what? The most important part is that we saw all three of the uncommon traits out. Magic was banned, we had seen all the bans used, and we saw them absolutely hit the gas, and it was one of our closest matches that we've seen so far in all of playoffs. But there's a time for a reset, and like you said, shake that proverbial Etch-a-Sketch and hope for the best, because we have ourselves a small break, and maybe a reset for both of these teams to see if this does turn into a 3-0. We'll see you in a little bit.
still have common days. Forget someone's name mid-conversation. Count your tips at the end of your shift. Buy something disappointing off the internet. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
We've had a cromulent time so far with both of these teams, and it could very well turn into a 3-0. It's up to one of these teams to see. Can this be the time to turn it back around? My name is Kagan. I'm joined by F. again. My friend, what can we expect to see with these uncommon traits?
Well, we'll hope that they're a little more common this time around, because obviously we had some issues. Our uncommon traits are brought to you by the Army National Guard. Find your calling at nationalguard.com. I put a lot of work into these uncommon traits, and my advice for UBC Esports is do what you did in Game 1, do what you did in Game 2, and do what you did in Games 1 and Games 2. This team, just keep it going. Just keep it going. Yeah. They're up 2. They had an approach that was surrounded by dive. They beat the pants off their opponent. Their opponent answered it, and they still beat them up. So my uncommon traits: do it again, Junior. Just do it again.
Well, you don't gotta tell them twice or maybe thrice. We're going to Midtown to see if it'll work out well. UBC Thunder, first ban on the board. What are we looking to get rid of this time? Remember, Magic was banned from Cumberland's side, and then immediately we saw the Spider-Man Daredevil. I don't know what kind of bans could be effective.
I mean, we'll definitely see when it comes down to the interesting thing when you look at Marvel Rivals specifically compared to other games with bans, and I'm not just saying, like, across the genre, MOBAs, etc., across genres, MOBAs, etc., is that it's very hard to ban a game plan. You can't ban dive, right? You can ban a couple of dive heroes, but you can't ban dive the way you might be able to in Dota or something. And so looking at the way the battlefield works out, I mean, do you ban the Magic? Do you ban the you ban the Daredevil. Don't be dumb. But like the Magic, then you got to deal with it. And the Magic just took you guys to the cleaners in game number 1. So now you're presented with, shout-outs to my homie, shout-outs to the caster, Marshall Sutcliffe. We're not friends. The impossible decision.
Can be.
Maybe. The impossible decision. Make your opponent. Force them to make the impossible decision. And that's where we're at now. Are you banning the Daredevil? Are you banning the Magic? We are banning the Magic. For my money, I think the Daredevil's a little bit scarier, but the Magic goes the way of the Dodo. Cumberland wants to deal with the Daredevil instead. They do have one more ban because the Daredevil isn't protected this time around. We'll see how the cookie crumbles.
Daredevil ban here could be effective. Magic's already gone from Cumberland's side. And remember, Midtown is one gigantic lane after another, which could be great for both of these meleeers. We don't have to worry about Eternal Bond wielding on the Cloak and Dagger anymore. But having the Daredevil ban means there's a lot more strategic output from UBC Thunder's side that could be really effective if they do get dove upon.
Do it. Like, honestly, this is... I'm not upset. Why? Oh, actually, why is a good reason. I was about to say how not upset I am about the mag ban because it allows the Cloak and Dagger to just live a little bit more effectively.
Well, here's the thing.
Yep, Cloak's banned. So, the mag has been a big part.
Oh, actually, well, I'm sorry. This is MRC bans because then UBC Thunder can still use Cloak and Dagger.
Yes.
But they can't. Okay. Wait, this still doesn't make sense.
Very rarely are games lost in picks and bans, and I don't think this is a game that will be lost in picks and bans. However, I absolutely think that Cumberland University could have done a better job in picks and bans. I like the Magic ban. I don't love the Magneto ban. not my overwhelmingly favorite because they don't have Magneto is the rock to the scissor that is Cloak and Dagger, and you banned out the scissor. So what? Just a very or your opponent banned out the scissor. So you ban out the Magneto to let your Cloak and Dagger live, but you're not allowed to play Cloak and Dagger in the first place. Loki doesn't really care about the Magneto so much because she can swap spaces, and Bot Aspect on the Rocket Raccoon that they've been playing the entire game can do the same thing. So Magneto in general does have a lot of tools, not specifically just a C&D counter, but still, we'll see how it works out. Maybe that is the answer, but UBC Thunder are going all in dive again. Medium fries on the Vanguard Deadpool this time around, flanked by MSG and Paglacio's Cap and Hulk, respectively.
Interesting. Is that dual pool that I see from Medium Fries?
Oh,
A very rare appearance, because I was going to say that's quadruple Vanguard coming
Which
out
isn't a
from
problem.
UBC Thunder. No, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, we see that from time to time.
It is dual pool. What? Oh, okay, man. Sure. Why not?
That's my feeling, sure. I don't love this, but you know, this is give the hot hand what they want. Medium fries, if you tell me you want to play flank Luna, I'm letting you. You know what I mean? Like, you get to do whatever you want. You get to do whatever you want here because
You're the
Medium
line leader.
Fries has been carrying this matchup.
Absolutely. Has been quite literally dictating what happens in the matchup, too. Not only that, like, wonderful work overall. Pain Brothers is underway. No way to escape the Exterminator beating up these animals. If I'm Cumberland University, I am just not happy right now.
I mean, if I kind of am.
Well, to me,
We just got beat up in the
they
corner.
They are holding the line. They are holding
But
the
it's a
line, but like on
stop.
an individual level.
Oh yeah, it feels bad, man. Absolutely.
But they are holding the line against UBC Thunder.
Finally gonna get the payload moving just a little bit. Cumberland has a slew of ults. Ranchers, of course, is gonna be the res, but you've got damage boost from the Rocket Raccoon, and then you've got Emma Scream, and Loki can do whatever the heck he wants. So great
I'd assume
choices
that's
here from
Invisible
Cumberland
Boundary.
University. Most likely.
Internet users are the same. We're looking at potentially 3 invisible boundaries that could come out now. Psionic Seduction from Excel's side. Bot Aspect, the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier is out. Medium Fries does take down Anakin. So that is a delayed ult, even if it's just for a few seconds. Karmic Revival directly in the middle of everything with the Doppelgangers on top. That's going to help out well. Essentially guarantee a full resurrect for everybody on Cumberland's side. But Anakin Sims needs to bring out that ult soon. There it is. And whoa, Karmic Revival, a second one. Okay, I'm down for that. But that does not speak the confidence for me for Cumberland's defense. They are losing bodies left and right. Even post-ultimate, they cannot survive long in this world. Excel's about to fall and save the group.
I love that Medium Fries is bringing us a third gameplay style. And I do say third because you look and go, Don, Magic and Daredevil are both dive. Magic was playing Brawl. Magic was targeting the tank 50% of the time and then targeting the supports later on down the line once you actually got closer to the point. Now, Medium Fries is playing poke, off angle, just being the annoying Deadpool character that this character is. Which I love, by the way. Deadpool is one of the more annoying characters, and, well, ain't that just canon, baby?
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of thinking that too. Like, okay, you know, you get Magic, it's melee, Daredevil, it's melee. I saw the Deadpool, I'm like, he's just gonna play swords only. Nope, not playing swords only. In fact, he's playing a completely different style, but he does have the swords as a contingency plan. Does finally bring out the swords, and my God, look at that impact. You're forcing Cumberland to bring out the most broken characters in the game. Apex Predator could certainly come out any moment, but now Rancher's pushed so far back that Glortrox won't be able to find anything if it's brought out.
Yeah, if I can dive into this dual pool, still not one of my... I feel like guard pool is the best iteration, and support pool absolutely has its spot. Damage amplification, by the way, that's worth noting. Dual pool just always seems outdone by other choices. The difference is he is a stance switcher, and so this character is getting it done from a distance and up close and personal when it's time to ult, and that's exactly what Medium Fries needs to be doing. The push in the backline ensures that nobody's going to be able to heal up this Groot. And goodbye. Here comes Medium Fries
so
earning the
unlucky.
second point.
I believe that was the freeze on the Medium Fries, and the Horn of Proteus was directly on top. I think that may have canceled out the ult impact. I didn't see any damage applied to dual pool whatsoever. That's truly unlucky. And Zin straight away swaps to the Moon Knight for this final point. One big alleyway, by the way. Should be enough to stop the I know he's not a Vanguard, but the essentially 4 Vanguards that UBC Thunder has.
All the space being created by that triple Vanguard lineup for Medium Fries. And, well, this one... Sorry, Emma. XL pops Psionic Seduction, and nobody cares. Double takedown for Paglaccio.
They are not ready. They don't want her advances. No seducing today. Just keeps going, doesn't it? Jenny's son does have invisible boundary. That's going to create even more space. Look at the Loki ultimate too. You have the God of Mischief directly on top. And through it all, yeah, some bodies do fall. Panglaclio's set up and ready for Monster Hold. He could absolutely go for World Breaker if he wants to, but he can hold on to that ult for the very last second. Medium Fries on double KO. Anakin Sims is forced to swap off the Loki. It's the most broken strategist in the game. At least that's allowed here, and yet you're forced to go Jeff for displacement only. Invisible Boundary Wielder directly on top, and it doesn't even matter what happens next. A clean 3-0 for the first half for UBC Thunder.
We are screaming about Medium Fries, and good reason. Medium Fries looked fantastic on 3 separate ways of play. All-in dive with the Daredevil, frontline brawl into dive with the magic, and now a little bit of both with the stance switcher of the dual pool. However, MSJZ and Paglaccio are such a big part of this team, and I want to bring up VTOM as well if I can. VTOM is the perfect glue guy, perfect role player, and before people get at me in the comments, that is not a negative. Medium Fries is clearly the spotlight player, but VTOM is the role player, and that is important because you need a player that understands. When you have a player like Medium Fries that's going to be your lead singer, you need a guy that understands that sometimes it's just their job to play the chords. So, 4-player dive team, I'm picking Hell, and I'm using my Goddess of Death to AC 130 from the sky and get us out of sticky situations that the dive can't do. This time around, full swap to a main Vanguard in the Groot, and that creates the world for Paglaccio and MSJZ to make these plays. And what we're seeing out of the front line is that both Paglaccio and MSJZ are able to make huge impacts.
Rancher early on does get the first impact, though. That's going to be Panglaccio gone. That should theoretically stall UBC Thunder for just a few moments, but Panglaccio is back. That's going to work out well, or at least early on here. MS not long for this world. Anakin does take down the Captain America as an invisible woman, but Jenny the same. This has been very back and forth for the first point.
Storm's a great answer to what UBC Thunder is bringing, minus the Hulk. All of these other characters, if they are walking up forward, do get smoked out by the Storm's Goddess boost. The Hulk can absolutely just jump on her and take her down. Good luck with that. That is a task that I need to see you do. I picked the Storm in here, and I forced the Hulk to force me off.
Moment to breathe. Medium Fries. Back Emperor's ultimate. He got himself Deadpool in his area just momentarily ago. Not enough for his stopping power, though. And as great as the pseudo Pain Brothers were in the beginning when they were on the attack, UBC Thunder, even with their glue guy Tom, the branches haven't been enough for stall factors. Xin doesn't have an answer against them yet outside of medium prizes hit scan.
This is where I'd like to see a little bit of a swap. I think the 4-player, the 3-player dive isn't working out. And it's time to see a little bit more of a front-to-back gameplay style. Yeah, no, Goddess Boost is insane. Tons of damage amplification. I was just going to talk over it because I thought that was all said and done. They were going to get the point, and guess what, Keg?
They do.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint.
Great work overall, and Cumberland University, again, they've always been, not to take away from their success for getting that first point, but they've always been very reactive and a little slow to the draw. They let UBC do essentially whatever they want on their own defense, but again, it's been this struggle for not only... What's up?
Before we get into this next one, we do see a swap. VTOM gets off of the tree guy and goes to Phoenix. That's going to be a nice answer to this Zizzle ultimate. VTOM's not going to have it available yet. I still want to see more of a frontline tank, but I wanted to see a swap. I don't know if this is the swap.
Well, let's tie it all together, because we saw both these teams on the convoy from Clintar struggle a lot on their defense. It only took the road pick at the very end from UBC to bring it all back together. It's UBC gunning down all these attackers, staggering out Excel. But is VTOM swapping to that Phoenix the right move?
I mean, you know what? Right now it is. That's exact. Like, listen, we at the end of the day, we look at two things, right? We look at the positions, right? 3 Vanguards to 2, but we also just look at the damage output. Root's going to be less damage than Phoenix for sure. And so now Phoenix is next to the medium fries. Medium fries going all in. Jackpot's hit. So here's some more damage pushed all the way to the heal line. And honestly, the Invis doing a great job of staying alive until I casters curse her. And the Double for medium fries follows up with the 2 main tanks, putting the opponents down. 6 alls eats it. XL does as well. And that's a full stop from UBC Thunder.
Full reset now. No more Groot. 6 alls gonna go for the thing. Zin's still on the Storm. I really like this Storm pick. Oh, never mind. It's gonna be the Namor instead. And I don't know. I think the Namor... Good call, but I feel like the ult potential on Omega Hurricane's a lot better than Horn of Proteus here.
VTOM is going to hold her ult. VTOM is holding this Phoenix ult until Storm ults, and then there's no Storm ult. So, yeah, Horn of Proteus, not a great ult, Bob. But the Squidwards will take care of the diving tanks, or at least theoretically will deal with the Deadpool, or at least theoretically will. I like this change.
Okay, double invisible boundaries are out. Monster Hulk underway. VTOM, like you said, should be waiting for one of these ults to come out before it can be underway. No more Omega Hurricane to do so, though. But Thought potential off of 6 alls, having clobbering time, evades out of the way. And Song Inferno from Rancher misses, but does displace momentarily. That itself could be a great cascade to have things continue forwards, but VTOM looking to reposition, finds the more off screen. It's going to be good, has to go down below, but they're out of the major fight. The Captain America's there to help. The heals are out underway. You cannot lose your Namor now, but surrounded by the enemy, you have to be so careful. VTOM, what is the plan? How can you isolate? How can you destroy? Melting the rocks, turning them from Ignatius into Inferno. It's going to be them gone. But still, the Unsung Inferno's held on to.
I really liked the approach from Cumberland coming from 2 different angles. At first, you look for the pincer, and if it doesn't work, you gotta bail. They kept to it for too long, wind up eating it. So 4 players are gonna fall down, make it 5, as Zenzi just can't handle it. 6 alls will make it back to base, but UBC Thunder now, they got a less than 90. They got a $118 on the clock to play defense here, and they could just end it all here. This is a first to 3, and the Thunder of 2.
Whose portal was that? Was that Panglaclios?
Yeah.
That was a really aggressive portal. That was directly into Cumberland spawn.
Yep. A little bit of unsurprising. Not even trolling. It's just unexpected gameplay.
Yeah, sure, man. I guess so. I'll take your word for it. We haven't seen any distance made on the convoy. I guess it worked. Jenny-san does have the invisible boundary to work with here to create that space. Anakin's gone for every strategist in the book. Even the Elsa Unranchered hasn't worked, but the Unsung Inferno's out yet again. Doesn't find anything? No, it doesn't. These ults from Cumberland haven't found impact, but they're so close to getting P2. And remember, they stopped the fight for overtime. So close yet
That's
so
fine.
far. 2 minutes on the clock.
That's fine. UBC Thunder, again, if you're a confident team, your goal is to end it here, obviously. Your goal is to prevent them from getting to the end zone, so you just win. However, you have a $140 of bank time yourself. So 90 seconds on the clock now. UBC Thunder already have the upper hand if we go to overtime. So everything is good here. Best case scenario, they end it. Worst case scenario, they go into overtime with the upper hand.
Okay. Tom and Song Inferno could be procced out any moment. Usually likes to wait for bot aspect to bring out the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier. Gets rid of that prospect. Stuck inside of a house. It looks like my apartment just is empty, but even then, V-Tom was forced to skedaddle and escape.
Great job from Excel. Excel has repeatedly looked for V-Tom and pushed him out.
There's the CYA. Case in point, and Song Inferno directly on top shuts down bot's ultimate. So far, so good. Cumberland University creating some distance. Almost towards the final point. A lot of 1v1s, a lot more separate than we've seen in the previous matchups.
Down to 30 seconds.
Paglaccio doing a fantastic job on this Hulkinator. Just all over the battlefield, doing such a great job of keeping the opposition annoyed, in all honesty. Just straight up annoying from this tank lineup. MSJZ and Paglaccio, so annoying.
Yeah.
Positively.
I mean, it's positively for us. We're not playing against them. Okay. Monster holds back out. Dual pool still in the frame. Somehow took down Spot as this back. I don't even think that was unintentional. Just flew directly into his line of sight. And Song Inferno, Horn of Proteus hit in between. Still directly onto the point. Not a care in the world, though. You have yourself your little Hulk shield. And even then, Medium Fries and Internet User are there to make sure that P3 is never a possibility. Bot aspect goes for the portal 1 second too late. And we're looking at UBC Thunder get a clean 3-0 for Div 2 playoffs.
Go to the doctor. Tell a joke. But Doc, I am Paglaccio. Great job from UBC Thunder. Frontline looks fantastic. Listen, a lot of people are going to look at this player right here. Medium fries, large, super size, extra large. I don't care. I got 17 network pounds of potatoes.
47-5, bro.
Dog. Yep. This is unequivocally the best dual pool performance I've ever seen. And
Only.
I can't, yeah, pretty much. And I can't back that up enough with how important those teammates are. That front line. Because what does dual pool do is probably an earnest question from a lot of people at home. What does he do? We know what Van Wilder Pool does. He just presses W at you, picks a healer and ice and destroys them. We know what Heal Pool does, right? But what does dual pool do? This is what he does. From a distance, mid-range, with the deagles, and then when the ult comes up, katanas come out, and we just absolutely embarrass the backline. And so you've got these frontline divers that are just like in and out, in and out. That's the big difference between characters like Venom and Thing versus Cap and Hulk. They're just in and out, giving enough breathing room, but still harassing some people in the backline. And then once it's ready to effing go, well, then dual pool goes in, they all double dive, triple dive, and well, y'all watch the game. 47 and who cares? Dual pool on top. Great job, Medium Fries. And just so I end this statement the way I want to, Medium Fries had that performance because of the teammates.
Yeah. Very well said, my friend. If this is how Division 2 wants to play, I can only imagine what Division 1 looks like. And honestly speaking, Medium Fries, put him in Division 0, man, because that was such an otherworldly performance, dude.
It's the teammates.
Yes, the teammates too. This whole team, I really like what we saw from UBC. I can't wait to see more of them in the future. But that's it for us today. We got to see a whole litany of amazing games, the wonky moments, but some really great moments on top too. But a big reminder is that we actually don't have any regularly scheduled games for the rest of this week because there's a giant rabbit coming down into everybody's house. Right? That's how it works? No?
Bro, I can't yet.
I'm the only one?
Well, I
No?
don't. Well, I'm
Not an
trying
Easter
to guess.
enjoyer?
I'm trying. What I? Oh, Easter.
Yeah, you don't have the bunny join your house? He'll take his
Dog,
eggs and you can melt them or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's okay.
There are.
No.
We do have stuff going on. There is stuff going on, though. Right?
Oh, really? Do tell.
You're the host. That's your job, dude.
Oh, dang it. I tried to be lazy. That's fine. We have the Aurora series on the mainstream on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. And of course, we want to thank the Army National Guard for helping make this all a possibility. It's been such a great time today, man, but Giant Rabbit's got to come over, so we can't have games.
Well, I had an absolute blast. Always fun to watch a nice spread of different organized talent. We had a chance to see our Division 7 players for University of Southern Maine take down WVU Tech, and it wasn't a clean 3-0. And then we saw our Division 2 players on UBC Thunder 3-0 Cumberland. But even in that 3-0, it was kind of a back and forth. So, earnestly, thanks for having me, and great games, dude.
Absolutely. Can't wait to work with you again, man. And we'll see you all, I believe, next week outside of the Aurora series. So you don't want to miss that. Come back here Thursday. We'll have more amazing games. We'll see you soon.
Forge Trials is presented by the Army National Guard.